Hello and welcome back. We hope you can join us again here at our Formula Pro Baku special. We had a mild internet issue, but we're hoping everything is sorted out now.
Yeah, hope.
We hope. We're doing positive thinking right now, so we're just going to assume it's all okay. That's how that works, right?
Yeah, this is something that doesn't happen always. Of course, we've been running the events for the past 5 years, and that's the thing about going live. You prepare everything, and then suddenly, boom.
Everything stops.
Yep. So, I mean, we still apologize for what happened, even though we had no control on the situation. But yes, we still have to apologize.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's how being polite.
It is the thing with live video, you know, there's no editing software. We can't cut and paste the things that go wrong. So if it happens while we're live, it's happened while we're live, and we just have to kind of roll with it.
The thing is that the event still was going on. Qualifying ended. So now there's a couple of minutes before we start the formation lap. Throughout the formation lap, we discuss on the qualifying that you missed. Probably they still saw the live timing there. That's why we sent the link there. If there are still any issues, we would check what's happening, but you still can check the live timing link, livetiming.wpr.gg. Today, the people who came watching here, they're lucky if there's still the issue happening out there. So the event is still happening smoothly. They can watch the event locally from our TVs. So we apologize again if it's still the issue, but we will check. The direction will check if all is good, but then you still keep going on, and we see if we can fix the issue. But yeah, rest assured, the event is still happening. The drivers are still going on. Probably they even know that there are issues. But yeah, let them race, let them have fun. We'll still keep you updated on what's going on.
Definitely. Obviously, from the driver's perspective, it's still experience for them, it's still practice, so they're getting what they need out of it, regardless of the issues we're having in the internet department.
Yeah, I mean,
thankfully, I mean, we're live now, and if you're just joining us, we're live on ESTV, Motorsport.tv, TVM Sport, and World Pro Racing's Facebook and YouTube pages. So,
yeah,
if you're not following us on Facebook and YouTube, go ahead and do that. You can stay up to date on our events and any updates from our drivers and things we do here around when we're not live.
Yes, so the formation lap will soon start in a couple of minutes. In fact, they have a 5-minute countdown to prepare the fuel tank. They have fuel tank has to be full for the whole race. They cannot refuel during the race, sorry. They have one mandatory tire change, so they have to literally do it, or else they get penalized. Depends on Adrian's decisions, who is in front of me, probably telling me that the issue is still happening. Am I right? So we'll check what's happening, and yeah, we'll update you on what's going on. So basically, formation lap, and then the race begins. The race is 45 minutes long, so it's with time, not lap times. And yeah, we will reveal the podium winners later on. In the meantime, I let Simon and Edwin continue with their commentary, if you can hear them. And yeah, we'll see what's going on behind the scenes.
Don't mention issues we don't have yet. We don't want to curse this. Here you see another shot of our facility where we're getting the drivers preparing. We see a pair of shoes in the corner there, which means the drivers are definitely getting comfortable and gearing up for a long 45-minute race. As Justin said, there's going to be a 5-minute... They're currently warming up on the grid, preparing their cars, their setups, their fuels, so that by the time the lights are out, they're fully in race mode and can just go. Edwin, we have a pole position in the form of Silva Joffret ahead of Dean Vella and Ryan Carabot. Those are the three we were kind of discussing as being the front runners. So are you surprised by this top three, or were you expecting someone else to maybe mix it up a little bit?
As we said before, Simon, it's kind of what we expected, actually. The first three were what we expected during practice and qualifying sessions. Obviously, since Silver Jeffert is in, maybe also they could use Silver Jeffert as a reference point during the race. Obviously, the race is different from qualifying hot laps. You know, you don't jump in a car for a race doing hot laps all the time. So, as Justin rightly said, you have a mandatory pit stop as well. So you need to switch tires. Either way, either soft to medium, medium to soft, whatever you want. But you need to switch them. And that's a key important part of the race when you're about to switch to whatever tires you want to switch before the race, while you're studying your strategy, and obviously rubbering in the track is going to be crucial as well on tire usage and fuel usage as well. And this track, we know it is fast, so it's not kind on the fuel on fuel usage. So it's about to get. It will be interesting to watch what's about to happen during the race, Simon. We see right now in the facility the race, the drivers preparing their cars, fuel-wise, tire-wise. They could choose whatever strategy they want, actually, Simon. But also they need to set up the car in the right strategy for this race. It's a 45-minute long race, so it's going to be crucial what tires they put on for the first and second stint.
One thing I will say, if you were watching and you just saw that one of the cars was driving, don't worry, you're not missing any of the action. Currently the drivers are going through a little bit of a warm-up session as a break between qualifying and the race, just so they get into the feel of a race situation rather than just a straight hot lap qualifying. So that's why you saw some of the cars driving and some not. Just a mild clarification.
And I think we're about 2 minutes away from the race start, 2 or 3
Something
minutes,
like
I
that.
think.
Yes, we're getting very, very close now. If you were a betting woman in Vegas, I love that phrase so much. I will use it every stream if I have to. If you're a betting man in Vegas, who would you be putting your money on at the current moment?
Well, to win the race, well, obviously it would be Silver Jeffers, because obviously he's putting in some amazing laps. But also in the local side, Dean Vella and Ryan Carabotta are not far away from each other, so it could be interesting, an interesting battle for the podium. But obviously you never know what's about to happen during the race, so it could surprise us as well. So we don't know.
I think if Silver manages to keep his lead after, let's say, the first couple of laps, I think it would be very difficult to catch.
Exactly.
And especially because I do believe that Dean Vella and Ryan Carabotta will probably race each other because they're very similar in terms of pace. But if one of them can jump Silver, we might be seeing a 3-horse race, maybe till the first pit stop. After that, obviously, it's hard to judge. Different strategies, drivers pitting at different moments. So I think by the end of the first stint, it'll be interesting to see who actually is leading the race.
And we never know what's going to happen. Maybe Silver Jeffers gets a bad start, or maybe gets tangled with someone else. So you never know. And Baku is always surprises us with some brilliant racing and surprises along the way. So it's going to be interesting what's about to happen.
Definitely, it's a very high-speed track. It's narrow in places. Like the Carlson section is so narrow. It's so easy to put the foot wrong, and the walls are just there.
Exactly.
There are a few turns where you can kind of bail off into the runoff area, but you're still going to lose a mountain of time. So it's really a question of going fast while also being careful.
Exactly.
Which
you need to be quick and careful. That's the trick in Baku. You need to be quick and careful.
And I think that's where our more experienced drivers are really going to excel, where the ones who are still getting used to it might be making. So we might see a few errors. We might not. It might not be the cleanest race we've ever seen.
Exactly.
But that's the nature of the circuit's nature of the cars. You know, the Formula Pro cars are so fast. There's not the easiest things to control. So it'll be interesting to see how they stack up.
Exactly.
And how the drivers with different levels of experience compete against each other.
And tire usage as well. You need to you need to be quick and careful. You need to take care of the tires, what's about to happen during the stop. So it's going to be really, really interesting. These 45 minutes of racing, what they can bring us.
Definitely, and 45 minutes long race, anything can happen. So I don't know.
We're about to see what maybe the direction can get us on track to see what.
The cars will probably still be warming up, so I'm not sure quite yet when we'll actually be going back to the track. Probably a couple of minutes till then.
Exactly. Well, we could see something what the drivers are going to do, maybe strategy tire-wise. We can't tell from here what's about to happen, and what the tires, what the tire choices of the other drivers, of the opponent drivers is. We can't know from here, and they don't even know from where they're sitting.
I was going to say, I just said that the drivers know what strategy they're on. I don't think they would, because obviously strategy develops throughout the race. So if you see your opponent pitting the lap you were planning on pitting, you might decide, do an extra few laps, push the tires right to the edge, and then dive in afterwards and try to overcut them.
It could bite you as well, because obviously when you lose that amount of tire usage, that amount of tire rubber, you lose temperature in those tires and obviously pressure in those tires as well. So you can end up losing by doing that one hot lap. It wouldn't be a hot lap anymore. It would be you won't end up in the wall. So we'll see. It's going to be really interesting, actually, Simon.
Definitely, very excited for it.
Mm-hmm.
I do think perhaps as we do the race, like I said, it might not be the cleanest race. So thankfully, we do have an FIA accredited steward here, Adrian, who's going to monitor everything, make sure all the racing is as clean as possible, and when it's not, that the people are punished as they should be. So that's always a nice thing to say, that we have to be able to offer new racers the chance to compete within a set of rules that are FIA accredited.
Oh, of course, and then Adrian always does a great job by doing the steward job here at Dual Pro Racing. And I think also Mendy is helping him as well. So
yes,
there, I think two of them, both of them, they know the rules and what needs to be done to have a clean race.
Exactly.
And by having those kind of people, the drivers get more mature by learning what's wrong and what's right during racing. There's no, you can't barge into other people. You don't, you can't push other people off the track. So, and you need to get your limits right. There are a set of boundaries in racing, and in simulating racing, it's still the same. It applies to both real and simulated racing. Those boundaries are the same, Simon. So let's hope that shortly we go on track as well to see what's about to happen, because I'm really excited about this race.
Yeah, you're definitely right that drivers need to be able to learn their boundaries, but a virtual environment is a very good place to kind of get to grips with that, because if you do make a mistake, you hit a wall, you hit another car, you're not costing yourself or your team any money.
Exactly.
The joys of everything being pixels. Pixels are delightfully cheap.
That's the brilliance of esports racing, actually, because you can bump into a wall and nothing will happen. And
I'm of the opinion, this is maybe a little controversial, I'm of the opinion that esports kind of allows drivers to be a lot more aggressive than real racing, because there isn't that physical or financial danger.
Exactly. It could be that way, Simon, because obviously if you like your opponent's car or your car, nothing will happen. But obviously we don't want that. We want
obviously not.
Racing, obviously.
But when it comes to a driver developing their skills, it might be good for them to go for a dive, figure out if they make a mistake, they've made a mistake. Nothing you can do about that. But they're still going to be able to return to the pits, fix their car, and get back out within the same qualifying session, within the same race.
Everyone benefits with these type of simulations, because obviously even professional racing drivers, they use simulation to set up cars, to get the most out of their cars, to learn the tracks as well, because obviously if some changes appear on track, real life, you need to at least get them on the simulation as well, and train your drivers well what's about to happen in the new part of the track. So simulation is always important, even while you're racing in a professional side, real racing.
We've had people who drive physical cars around here and physical go-karts, and I love hearing their perspective, because some of them say that esports is very, very similar to real racing, because it's the same movement. You have the steering wheel and the accelerator pedals, so they still have that like physical feel to it. And others say the esports is nothing like it, because you don't have the wind rush, the sounds, and all that. So it is really interesting to see how different drivers kind of approach their own. Like I say, medium of racing seems a bit pretentious, but I hope you know what I mean.
Exactly. We did have that conversation when we had the GP Racing Club.
Exactly.
And they had the go-kart event here. And it was an amazing, actually, event when we had the youths and then the adults competing against each other, and with GP Racing as well, who we all say hi from here. And was an amazing event. And we did have a good couple of races there. And we did get some perspective between esports and real-life sports. Some of them said, well, it's sort of, the lap times were sort of the same. The lap times were, what, half a second off?
Yeah.
So we were really close to real-life racing. So
I think that's a testament to rFactor and the way the cars are built to the especially like these Formula Pro cars that we're racing today, are built according to the rule book set out by the FIA and
Exactly.
for Formula One.
Mhm.
So even though it's not a direct copy of an existing Formula One car, it's built to the same rule set.
And even the
Which is
tracks, the tracks are really, they're millimetrically accurate actually, because
Yeah.
they do a great job of recreating a Larif track, for example, in Malta, the
Mhm.
go-kart track we have in Malta, and Mtahleb Hill Climb that we had also, we did commentated as well. They do a great job in sizing the track up.
I did a fun test with my dad a while back where I showed him footage from rFactor 2. I can't remember if it was rFactor 2 or Assetto Corsa. I believe it was rFactor 2.
Mhm.
And said, "Is this real?" And he
That's
could,
it.
and he was so stumped
It's
for
amazing.
a good
It's
minute or so.
amazing. And the way they recreate the tracks
Mhm.
is something unbelievable, actually, Simon, because there is a lot of work and effort going behind the scenes
Definitely.
when they do these kind of racetracks. So, and this is the same thing with Baku and the Formula Pro cars. Let's hope that soon we will have some form of racing, actually, because it's been a while since we went racing.
Judging from the little bit of a delay, we might be having some more issues that,
Exactly.
unfortunately, me and Edwin in our nice little box are not privy to at the moment.
we won't know we won't know what's happening outside
Yeah. If
of our studio.
Mhm. At some point, someone will run in with a sign saying
Exactly.
something went wrong.
Either stop or we go.
But yeah, we will hopefully be getting racing as soon as we can. Till then, me and Edwin will just you continue listening to our lovely little voices.
Well, as we were saying before, Simon, we're racing in Baku
Mhm.
with the Formula Pro cars, which have the same rules, same structure as the current Formula One cars, but obviously engines rev up so high, 17,000 RPM, so they're beautifully sounding machines. We're not hearing anything while the race is going on, but trust me, the noise level is amazing when they go around, and these cars are fast. I tried to drive one of them, I couldn't even get around the first two corners. So it's amazing the amount of the level of concentration that these drivers put in, Simon, is well, it's going to be amazing because 45 minutes, it's a long time to get your concentration right every lap of the race. So let's hope that we're going to have a clean race and no barging and bumping along the way. You need to get concentration. Baku is all about concentration and getting it right. If you don't get the corner right, you end up in the wall, and that's not right.
And as you were saying, these cars are so fast that when you make a mistake, you have a very short time to correct it before you, especially at this track, you're going to end up in a wall. So yeah, it is one of those, you really get an appreciation for these drivers and the things they do when you actually try it. Because before that, it's very easy to kind of dismiss it as saying, oh, they're playing a game, anyone can do that. And to an extent, yes. But like all things, anyone can drive a car, anyone can fly a plane if they're practiced enough.
Exactly.
So that's the thing, like these drivers have to practice to be as good as they are and as consistent as they are. You and me could not jump on a random sim rig and beat
And
them.
drive, no.
We'd be 10 seconds down the road, probably in every single wall known to
For
man.
sure, I cannot do it because when I tried, I messed it up. So
As you
we're
kind of
looking
see.
a shot. We're looking a shot of our facility right now with a picture-in-picture, and there we are.
Our drivers are still warming up, as you can see. Probably been given a second warm-up session just while we sort out some of the kinks with our stream. Is that a car going backwards? Ah, yes,
Yeah,
that is.
that's a car going backwards.
Yes, unfortunately I cannot see, obviously seeing them from behind, I cannot see who's actually driving, but there's a car running into the, missing his braking point and running into the runoff section, probably at turn 2. Looks like it's at turn 2. I could be completely wrong. Oh, it is turn 2. Look at that.
Let's hope we get some sort of form of racing soon because
I think
it's been a while.
at this point it is just kind of a waiting game until we make sure everything works properly, so it's unfortunate. No one likes... Again, we were mentioning this a little earlier when Justin was in the room. When you're live, you can't edit out the parts that don't go to plan. So it is... Hey, look, it's us again.
Of course, everything, everything, when it's live, everything happens that time and that's it.
Exactly.
You can't roll it back, unfortunately. Still, drivers are setting their cars up as you watch in the pits. Some of them gearing up. I think there's gear ratios over there. They're trying to gear it up really good, really well for this upcoming race, 45 minutes race. it's half the race distance of a current Formula One race. So it's going to be an interesting battle throughout the whole race.
Definitely. Obviously, the thing we hope for is close racing. 45 minutes, there is the risk of cars getting spread out. You make mistakes, you lose some time. Over such a long race, you can kind of get these bigger gaps. Thankfully, we have a mandatory pit stop, which is going to be putting cars on different strategies, running different speeds, different tire lives. So hopefully that should keep things interesting.
And it's not guaranteed the position you're in that you're going to end up with.
Definitely not.
So nothing is guaranteed with a pit stop. Nothing is guaranteed because obviously tire choice will be crucial as well, Simon, as we always say. And the in-lap and out-laps, they're going to be crucial as well because you need to go the in-lap to either undercut someone else or else to overcut someone else. So you need a good in-lap and out-lap. So you need to be, as we said before, you need to be quick and careful in this track.
I do think that perhaps around Baku the outlap will be more important because the quicker you can heat up your tires, the quicker you're going to be able to fully attack each and every corner. And despite being a very high-speed track, you need so much grip to properly attack. Like there's a lot of 90-degree corners. We mentioned the castle section is so narrow. You need grip to be able to put the car exactly where you want it. If it steps out, you're going to lose time and run the risk of getting damage.
Exactly. And also, while you're heating up those tires, you need to be also careful so you will know the amount of grip the tire has at that particular moment. So you don't attack immediately while you're coming out of the pits because obviously tires will be colder than at the end of the lap. So you need to be careful as well about that.
Those are the small details that I think our more experienced drivers are going to. It's going to come second nature to our more experienced drivers, whereas our newer ones will have to either think and plan through those little. I say nuances. I guess that's the best way to describe them because you don't really think about them when you know. They become second nature when you're a really experienced driver, but to a newbie, they can be those things that trip you up if you push.
Exactly.
Especially if you come out right behind a competitor, it's naturally interesting to just slam on the accelerator, go as fast as you can. You really need to be patient. You need to wait until your tires warm up, till you get back into the groove of the circuit, and then you can actually try and plan attack.
And blue flags are going to be important as well. Blue flags while you're going to lap another slow drive, which obviously there will be amount of blue flags you're running around. So you need to be careful about that as well because obviously if you end up one of those back markers, heating up those tires and obviously slower around the racetrack, well, that's a key issue for the lead car to overtake you.
Yeah, you don't want to be the driver who slows down the lead car or any fast. If you're being lapped, it is courtesy, move to the side of the road, hit the brakes a little bit.
Exactly. We know what's going to happen. We know it will happen. So back in our facility right now, as drivers get prepared to, let's hope, we go racing in a couple of seconds time because it's been a while we went racing. Qualifying was, I think, like half an hour ago.
Yeah, obviously we can't know what's the actual reason behind this. We do think maybe the drivers are just getting their warm-ups and warming up, getting their setups right, and then we will go racing fairly shortly, hopefully.
Hopefully,
one
very short.
would hope. But yes, obviously, stay tuned. If you're just joining us, we are racing Formula Pro cars around the Baku Street Circuit to build up for the Formula One race next week. We are currently live on ESTV, Motorsport.tv, TVM Sport, and the World Pro Racing Facebook and YouTube pages. If you're not following us on Facebook and YouTube, please go ahead and do that. You can stay up to date on all of our future events and any updates we have in the meantime. We, as an education facility, often have people coming to our facilities, the word, I'm an idiot, coming to our facility to practice on our state-of-the-art sim rigs and get better at racing. We have a driver who's competing for the first time tonight. His name is Kaysen Harmsworth. My apologies. So yeah, he's competing for the first time tonight on a professional scale. So very interesting to see how he performs. Second thing, Edwin. We've talked about the race a lot. To kind of take a break from while we're still waiting for our race, so we'll talk about Formula One a little bit. Have you been enjoying the season?
It is an amazing season actually because battle is going to heat up between the two title contenders. Obviously, we know that Charles had some issues, but obviously Max had some issues as well. So they both DNF'd, I think, the same amount of time. So it's a level playing field once again. So
Max doesn't have easy championship fights, does he?
no,
He
no.
always
But
has a strong
obviously-
competitor.
But the car is really performing well. They
Yep.
really got the best out of that engine, that Honda engine as well.
You say that, it does blow up a lot.
It does, but they did get the most out of
Yeah.
best out of it, and they do have the most. On paper, they have the most powerful engine right now.
It's a testament to Max's driving as well that until Monaco, every race he finished, he won.
Exactly.
Which is a great achievement. I think he had finished in the top, either first or second in every race from, I think it's like Hungary last year, which
Exactly.
is amazing. And all credit to Charles Leclerc. He's driving so well. I think this is the first time he's really been in a championship-winning car.
Exactly. Yes.
Especially like leading the championship straight out the gate. He's doing really, really well. I hope he can keep it up, and by the end of the season, come Abu Dhabi, we have another, hopefully
Blockbuster fight.
hopefully
Another
less
one.
controversial. I'll be like, I'm so tired of hearing about Abu Dhabi 2021 at this point. But yeah, hopefully we'll just get a nice clean title fight where someone wins and no one gets screwed over by a safety car.
Back in our facility assignment right now, as drivers are getting ready for what would be the formation lap, and hopefully the race start shortly.
Yeah. One thing we haven't really touched on while we've been waiting, obviously me and you and all of our viewers are very eager for a race to start. These drivers are also eager. The more time they go with, the more distance they put between qualifying and the race, the less they're going to be in touch with the circuit. And even if, like I said, we've been doing warm-up sessions, they've been still driving in this little intermission we're having. But it won't be in a proper race condition. So as we see here, the drivers are talking to each other. This is time that every minute they spend is time that they're kind of stepping away from the circuit, stepping away from the racing. So this is going to hurt them as much as it's hurting us, unfortunately. But it will make a very exciting opening lap as everyone really, really struggles to get the grips with the circuit. Whoever's fastest whoever can get comfortable once again with the circuit the fastest might benefit. Yes, I'm just trying to have a look at their screen to see what they're tinkering with. I do think they are playing around with the setup, probably the fuel. As we said, they're not allowed to refuel during the race. They're only allowed to change tires. So, making sure you have the right fuel loads to go the full distance without being overfueled and or underfueled. It's going to be a challenge, especially once again. I feel like I'm repeating myself a lot, but we have to stress that some of the drivers are not as experienced, so things like that are going to be things they have to really, really consider and make sure they get right. Whereas for our more experienced drivers, it could be they'll know what settings to use to last a full race, and then they can play around with it on the go as much as they need to. They have that experience, they have that knowledge. Yes, in the right of your screen, you can see Andrea Rizzo, and I believe next to him that is Dean Vella. So Dean Vella is currently starting. He qualified in P2, so he will be starting on the front row for our race. Adrian Rizzo, I believe, qualified 4th or 5th. Andrea Rizzo. So yeah, he'll be on the second row. Again, good opportunity for him. If he gets a good start, he can challenge the top 3, especially Silver Pyramids and Dean Vella. I think watching those two into turn 1 is going to be fun, and equally watching the second row is also going to be something. As we are now on the grid, in the top right in the top left of your screen, you can see that countdown. That is when we will be starting, I assume, the formation lap. But yes, Silver Joffred is on pole position ahead of Dean Vella, Ryan Karabot, Andrea Rizzo, and Aiden Glanville in 5th. Ruben Frenda starts in 6th place ahead of Miguel Enriquez, Nicholas Dalia, Jonathan Navarro, Jazz Abdullah Goff, and Kaysen Harmsworth in last place. Caden Harmsworth is the driver here with the least experience. This is his first professional event, and Aiden Glanville is our youngest driver at... As we saw when his picture popped up, he is still very much a child, and to be in 5th place at his age is very, very impressive. I'm very excited to see how he can perform in the race itself.
Finally, the formation lap has started. Oh yes, so we're about to go racing in about 3 minutes of formation lap. Unfortunately, Harmsworth is still in pit, so being last, he's going to start the race from the pit lane. Simon, that's a penalty as well for Harmsworth, so he'll end up starting the race from the pit lane. As soon as the cars go by the first corner, he will get the green light to start from the pit lane. I believe he will start from the pit lane, as obviously the cars have already left the grid.
We will figure out in a few moments. It's a shame for him to already be starting off on the back foot with a penalty, but hopefully he understands that this race for him is about experience, about getting those laps in, and he stays for the full distance, even if he's running at the back for a little bit.
From Glenville, they need to pick up the pace from Glenville. That's not right. They're leaving a big gap to Andrea Rizzo, and you need to get the gaps right.
Is there a car spun?
That's Andrea Rizzo spinning.
Oh no.
That's Andrea Rizzo spinning. That's amazing on the formation lap.
We've seen it in real life, and it's happened here as well.
Exactly, but if he can keep that fourth spot, he can start from fourth place.
I'm pretty sure he will be able to. I don't think the game will have a system of dumping him back, but maybe he might get a penalty, though I highly doubt it.
No, I don't know. As well, and there he is, still Rizzo.
Yes. It's so easy. It's so easy to do, especially when warming up the tires. You're weaving around. You're putting the car in situations where you never really put them in a normal situation. So it's very easy to just a very momentary lapse in judgment, spin the car around. What matters is that he got it back in the line and he got to start the race.
Too eager on the throttle, too eager to warm up the rear tires, and unfortunately, this is what happens.
I remember David Coulthard doing it in Australia, or I think I could be completely mixing up which race it was, but I remember him doing it. I think it was like the second or third Formula One race I ever watched when I was like 5 years old. It's just like the weirdest thing to see a front-running driver spin on the formation lap right by the. I think it was on the final corner as well. I think it was right in front of the grid. Very funny. But yes, they're coming around the final corner now. The race will be starting very, very shortly. We apologize for the slight delay, but unfortunately nothing we can do about it. The race is starting, so hopefully we get some entertainment. If you're just joining us, I'm going to repeat myself. We are live on ESTV, Motorsport.tv, TVM Sport, and the World Pro Racing Facebook and YouTube pages. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube to keep up to date with all of our future events. Edwin, the race is starting.
Yes, about to start. So the drivers line up on the grid for a standing start. So Silver Jeffrey, then Dean Vella, Carabot, Rizzo, Glenville, Frendo, Enriquez, Delia, Navarro, Abdullah, and Harmsworth in last place. As the drivers get to the grid, they all bunch up right now. So tires will be warm, brakes will be warm as well. We're about to get started and ready to rumble in about a minute and a half or something like that, 2 minutes.
It was very interesting. Looking at the formation lap, Joffrey didn't do too much weaving, whereas pretty much all the other drivers did. So that's I think that shows that confidence he has in his car, where he knows how to heat up the tires. He's got that experience.
Let's watch for Dean Vella as well, for Dean Vella starting in second place. He has that inside line, Simon, to the first turn, the first corner. So
absolutely,
if he can get a good start from Jeffrey, he might end up in first place. As the drivers line up to the grid, we're about to get underway as the red lights come out. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and they are away right now as as Jeffrey makes an incredible start. And look at Carabot. Carabot is in second place already from Dean Vella. That's an amazing corner from there from Carabot. So Carabot in second place, Dean Vella in third place, then Glenville, Enriquez, Rizzo, who went down the order to 6th place, Abdullah and Frendo Delia, Harmsworth, who is not in last place, he's in the penultimate place, and then Navarro in last place. That's an amazing start there from Carabot. Jeffrey leads the way with half a second already from Dean Vella. Now someone is spin off.
Jeffrey is spinning down.
Jeffrey is spinning down the order. Jeffrey is out.
No,
he did. He spun around. Jeffrey is spun around. Jeffrey is in 7th place, I think.
Yeah, Jeffrey is now in 7th. He's managed to get his car back into the road. Brian Carabot now leads the race ahead of Dean Vella, Aiden Glanville, and Miguel Enriquez.
Yes.
And that's all for Andrea Rizzo as well, and also Navarro, who's now running in last. But yeah, I think Jeffrey definitely the worst off after as we come around the middle of lap 2.
What an amazing turnaround, these couple of corners. So Dean Vella is in second place right now. Carabot in first place. They're fighting it out for the first place. Dean Vella in the slipstream of Carabot. Simon, they brake hard right now into this left-hander. Now onto the final corner of the first lap as Dean Vella has a look to Ryan Carabot. Now onto the start-finish straight. Let's see what's about to happen on the slipstream. Dean Vella behind Ryan Carabot. They come up to end up the first lap. They come up to the start-finish straight as well. This is the first lap completed with 43 minutes left to go. Dean Vella in the slipstream of Ryan Carabot. He picks up his moment, turns to the left of Ryan Carabot. They're about to head to the first turn. Dean Vella is currently in P2 and Carabot in P1. That's Dean Vella braking hard in the first corner, and Dean Vella takes the lead of the race from Ryan Carabot, then Glenn Rizzo, Enriquez, and this all happened in the first lap of this race.
Very, very good move from Vella, very clean. He got his car exactly where he needed to be, just dove up the inside, and Ryan Carabot could do nothing about it. Rizzo is now back in the fourth. He's gotten ahead of Enriquez as Joffred has moved into sixth, getting ahead of Goff there.
Sixth already for Joffred. That's amazing because he was in 8th place. Let's hope we get a replay of the start to see what did happen, what happened to Joffred as he is now in 5th place. Let's see what did happen to Joffred in the first place, because we saw him in first place almost just leading the race, and then all of a sudden we saw him spinning around and ending up in 7th place.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him. I do wonder if maybe he was tagged, but I didn't see anything. He might have just made a mistake on his own. Very easy to do. That's what we talked about. You know, they had quite a large gap between qualifying and the race.
Oh,
penalty for Ruben Frendo. No?
Maybe they touched. Maybe no, they couldn't have touched because obviously Ruben Frendo was, I think, in 6th place by that.
I'm assuming they're unrelated. We'll figure out maybe through some replays. We can figure out what happened as the race now calms down a little bit.
And Harmsworth, who started the race, and Frendo, that's Ruben Frendo out of the race. Ruben Frendo out of the race, having had a penalty. That's him out of the race. As we see now Ryan Carabot in 2nd place. Already Dean Vella is romping away, 2.2 seconds away from Ryan Carabot. And Harmsworth, as I was saying that before, is in that. This is the replay of the start. Let's see what Silver Jefford did during the start. He was all okay, as we see obviously the two protagonists of the first place right now, Ryan Carabot and Dean Vella fighting it out. Silver Jefford, let's see what's about to happen.
He had a very good first two corners as he comes into turn 3. I don't recall exactly where his spin was. Is it going to be here? He is on
he locked up.
Completely locked up. That is entirely an unforced error. He just pushed himself too hard on cold tires, locked up, went wide, and dumped himself down into 8th position. Very unfortunate for him.
Low pressure tires, and obviously as well cold brakes as well, Simon. You can't brake. There's only 2 corners to brake hard, and you didn't brake hard because obviously from the start to the turn 1 you didn't brake hard.
Yeah, and we said that he wasn't really heating up his tires on the formation lap. That's one of the problems you can get if they're not hot enough. You can't push the car as hard. Obviously, a collision. We have from the race direction a collision between car 4 and there's a crash there for Aiden Glenville, and I believe Navarro is the second car involved. Aiden Glenville was running towards the front, but he has now lost his front wing. Both of them are trying to reverse and spin around. It's a big issue. Thankfully, there are no cars around where they are at the moment. They are at the back, so I'm not going to be in the way of other people, but that is damage for Aiden Glenville. And probably Navarro as well, to be honest.
And Harmsworth came up into 8th place, starting from the back of the grid, obviously. Still, we're on board with Silver Jefford right now. He is currently in 4th position, 40 minutes racing left. There's a yellow in sector 1, and still Jefford, still losing time on this lap. We saw him doing that mistake, and which cost him actually the lead of the race, Simon. And now he did another mistake, another big mistake at the final corner. He just came wide, and the car snapping around on him. That's Andrea from P3.
Yes, we're getting a note from race control that Go has a 5-second penalty after having a collision with Rizzo. Goff has come forward that Rizzo is currently running in P3 and Goff in P6. Goffred is up into 4th. He's hunting down Rizzo, and the gap is getting smaller and smaller each lap. As here we're going to have a replay of the Glanville incident, as we see him racing very close to the car ahead, which is not the car he crashed into. So I'm not sure if he made a mistake on his own and then they're trying to recover. Maybe pull that into the way of Navarro. Let's see as we follow him through this corner. Coming up into turn 4. Yeah.
Oh, he spun on his own.
He spun his own into the wall.
And then he reversed and hit another car. Oh, that's an unfortunate incident. That's obviously, we know what blame it is.
I mean, it's a horrible place to get stuck, and you just, in that moment, you just want to.
Yeah, but you need to take care of the cars behind you as well. You don't just reverse.
Definitely, it's very much.
That's dangerous driving, actually.
Yeah, it's very much an unsafe rejoin there. I would assume he would get a penalty for that. Unfortunate for him, because like I said, it's an easy mistake to make. And we're getting the same message again at the top. Unless there's been a second incident, I highly doubt that. But yes, we're seeing Andrea Rizzo now on your screen. Very, very close to Joffred. Joffred is hounding him. He's going to try and overtake. I assume 10-1 will be his next best opportunity. He's very close, and Joffred does have the pace to overtake Rizzo. Unless Rizzo has a very good defense. He's a bit wide there, almost brushes the wall. I don't know if he actually made contact or not. We can't really tell. It's a shame we're getting this camera angle. We can't see where Joffred is, but Joffred is. Oh, we've changed camera angles to Miguel Enriquez.
No,
as we see, here,
side by side.
Joffred is side by side, and he's ahead before they even get to the braking zone. Can Rizzo fight back? No, he cannot.
No, he can't.
Joffred is back up to the podium spaces after his calamitous first lap, where he dropped down to 8th. He is now back into P3.
So
and
Joffred right now is 6 seconds away from the lead. So he might still win this race, Simon.
Yes. As we so here, the collision between Glanville and Navarro is now being investigated. So we will get a FAA accredited decision on that in a few moments. So stay tuned for that. As we currently watch, our leader, Dean Vella, currently 3.5 seconds ahead of Ryan Karabot. An incredible lead for now. But Joffred is coming. He's already closed the gap to Karabot by over a second. So yeah, it's... Joffred is going to catch Ryan Karabot, and I do think he has the place to overtake him. The question is, how quickly can he make it to Dean Vella, and can he race him for the lead? He has to be careful with those walls, though. Getting very, very close in turn 9.
The pace of Silver Joffred is unbelievable, actually, but as you rightly say it, Simon, it's easy to follow, but then it's also easy to make another mistake as well. And Joffred, well, we know he's driving really, really hard, and but you also need to take care of your own car. We have yellow flag in Sector 1, I believe it's for Jonathan Navarro. Harmsworth is in 7th place, and behind Abdullah.
As you can see in the top of your screen again, Aiden Glanville has been given a 10-second penalty for crashing into Navarro there. An unsafe rejoin. I think that's a fair penalty. He did reverse without really checking around his surroundings. Nothing Navarro could have done. He was fully the innocent passenger there. Yeah, as they come through turn 9 and turn 10, famous castle section. These two drivers, they are running towards the back of the grid, both of them being sustained in minor incidents. But they're very close together, so hopefully we can see them maybe practice their racing and overtaking skills.
And also we can see maybe the progress as well of Harmsworth, because Harmsworth is behind Abdullah and second and 1.3 seconds away from Abdullah, as we're coming up to the lead group as well. Dean Vella with 5 seconds from Ryan Karabot, then Joffred, who is really close to Ryan Karabot. This is Dean Vella, the leader of this race, who took the lead from Ryan Karabot in a spectacular way, actually, Simon.
Yeah.
And this is Harmsworth behind Abdullah. Let's see what Harmsworth can do, because I'm looking at this, and Harmsworth, let's not forget, he started from the back of the field with the car stopped, actually, on the grid. So it would be an incredible race for him to get either 6th place or maybe also 5th. It's still a long way to go. 34 minutes of racing left, so we still had 11 minutes of racing, and all of this happened in these 11 minutes.
We do have to remember, he does have a penalty, unfortunately, so he is driving very much with a handicap at the moment.
Exactly.
And he slides the car. Careful about that, you don't want to head up in a wall, maybe. But yeah, he's driving very well. Full credit to him. As we were talking, Baku was a very easy track to make a mistake. It's very easy to damage your car. So the fact that he's managed to go this far without any major incidents.
With these cars, with these current cars, Joffred isn't able to overtake Ryan Karabot. It's still, the gap's still hovering around the second. So either he took a lot of time, a lot of life out of his tires, as we're looking at them right now. Ryan Karabot in 2nd place and Joffred in the 3rd place. Either he took a lot of life out of those tires and then let them cool a bit and come back to Ryan Karabot, or else maybe these tires cried enough as he closes up to Ryan Karabot with the DRS, with the help of DRS as well.
Yeah, I don't think Joffred would have wasted all his tires just yet. I think he would have been just holding back a little, waiting to cool off his tires and brakes, so once he's in the DRS, he can kind of stay there for as long as he wants, really.
He said, unless he does a mistake, like the first mistake he did at the first step, which could happen as well, Simon.
But now you can see he's definitely pushing again. He's closed right up to the back of Ryan Carbot, and I do think maybe down the soft finish straight, he will try another move, or with how close he is, we could see that move happening a bit earlier. It's not going to happen here. You cannot overtake into the Costal section. That's
impossible
bad
to
idea. Someone's probably tried in real life, and someone's probably ended up in the wall because of it. Anywho, we cut back, getting back to the action. Ryan Carbot is going to have to defend from his life because Jeffert is not only fast, he's also angry.
And he is exactly behind. He is right at the tail of. He's looking at that gearbox actually of Ryan Carbot. So and there's a back marker actually along the way as well, which could either help Carbot or else help Jeffert as well. So it could help right now Carbot because obviously he needs the slipstream to get the measure of Jeffert. This is Andrea Ritz. So let's hope we stay with Carbot and Jeffert and see what's going to happen into that first corner.
Yes. Looking at the timing tab, they are very, very close together at the moment.
Yes, let's hope we get the direction to get on Carbot and Jeffert, please, as they come up to the first corner, which I think Carbot is still in second place.
It does appear like, Jeffert was not able to make the move at this current juncture. We'll see if maybe he can try on another lap. He is very close, and he is... it's kind of a bit rude to say maybe, but he is faster than Carbot right now, so if Carbot can defend, he's going to have to pull off a worldly performance to keep Jeffert behind him.
Jeffert is in P2. Jeffert is in second place.
Oh, he did get the move done.
Yes,
we will try and get a replay for you so you can see that happening. So you can actually see that happening.
This is Kaysen Harmsworth, the young little guy who, and it said that someone went wide. Someone went wide. That's Harmsworth. Door open for him.
Yeah.
So Harmsworth in sixth place. Abdullah went wide into that first corner. Harmsworth says, "Thank you very much. I'll take that sixth place from you, the Abdullah." So Harmsworth in sixth place, but obviously Abdullah's coming back at him. That's DRS open. Harmsworth needs to defend for his life. Who is going to break the bravest? That's Harmsworth going wide.
Harmsworth goes off.
So Abdullah retakes that sixth place. Unfortunately for Harmsworth, he couldn't handle the pressure that Abdullah
he hit the wall coming out of turn 2, which slowed him down, which gave Goff that second chance to attack, and he pulled off perfectly. Harmsworth was trying his hardest to defend, but I think it was very clear from the minute he hit the brakes, he had pushed it too far. He was going straight on. There's nothing he could do. He knew it, and I think the car behind knew it as well. Goff not doing nothing special, just kind of breaking at his normal point and taking the corner as he would. As we cut back to Ryan Carbot and Silver Jeffert. Ryan Carbot, as you can see, is now in third place, losing ground already to Jeffert. He might be out of the slipstream already after just a lap, maybe not.
But DRS is open for Carbot as they come up to the first corner. They're still one after each other, so this is not all lost for Carbot. So
I have to disagree with you there. I think Carbot is way too far back already. If he's going to try second move, it would have to been down this straight. The lap he got overtaken. At this point, it's Carbot now just has to not worry about Jeffert too much, run his own race and make sure to really secure third. If he pushes his tires too much, he can start losing time. And even though there's a big gap between him and Ritzo, there's still half an hour to go. The race is nowhere near over. As we see, a yellow flag in sector 2, so
someone went off in sector 2 as well.
Yes, perhaps someone overdoing their braking point or maybe touching the wall somewhere. But yes.
So Dean Vellan first place, 6 seconds away from Jeffert as Nicolas Delia comes into the pits to what's going to be a scheduled stop here. This is Nicolas Delia as Dean Vellan first place, 5.5 seconds now from Jeffert, then Carbot, Ritzo, Enriquez, Abdullah, Harmsworth, who we saw making that mistake, unfortunately for Harmsworth, who was doing really well, Navarro, Glenville, Delia, who's still in the pits, and then Frendo, who obviously we know retired from the race. There's another retirement. I think Delia's retired as well.
Delia, yes, is retiring. As also Harmsworth is now in the pits, so hopefully that's not him retiring. I do hope he finishes the end of the race, even if he's not doing perhaps as well as he might as well. But talking about Delia, we just saw there very quickly, he was setting fastest sectors of the race, so he is not letting up. In fact, now the gap is now 6 seconds between him and Joffred. He's not going to make it easy for Joffred. Joffred cut off through the field very, very quickly. He made perfect use of his skill and knowledge to just carve from 8th to 2nd in a handful of laps. It's not going to be easy to get into first. Dean Vella is talented enough and aware enough to make sure to give Joffrey a full-on challenge. As you see, Harmsworth now coming out to the pits in 8th place, so he is, I believe, the last. No, he's not quite the last of the runners. He's in the penultimate position, but a long way back. Hopefully, he can just do some good lap times on these current tires and make up any positions he lost during those pit stops. He will most likely overtake Navarro again. Goff is his real challenge. I think the highest he can hope for is 6th in this current moment.
So Dean Vella still currently in first place with 5 seconds away from Jeffrey with 28 minutes left of racing. Then Karabot, Rizzo, Enriquez, Abdella, Navarro, Harmsworth, Glenville and Delia, who most probably he's already out of this race. This is Silver Jeffert with, sliding around Silver Jeffert.
One thing I should say, the man in the corner of your screen is Dean Vella.
Exactly.
There you go.
There we go, this is Dean Vella.
Silver Jeffert is not racing from our facility, he's actually racing, he's an international driver racing from his home. So Dean Vella is racing in our facility, as we can see there he is in the bottom.
Dean Vella is doing an outstanding job actually by keeping that gap, hovering around 6 seconds. Oh, that's Harmsworth. Harmsworth still right out of the pits, cold tires I believe. Harmsworth is out of the races. He loses.
He's lost both wings.
Yes,
he's lost his rear wing. It's going to be very difficult to drive the car. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do not believe you can fix.
No, he doesn't know. He doesn't know that the rear wing is off.
I think he would know, but like when you lose rear wings in these cars, 90%, well, not 90, but like a massive portion of the downforce comes from the rear wing. Especially in these cars when the rear wing is so big. That car is going to be impossible to drive. You have to.
He knows now. He knows now. He just went.
You have to go at a walking pace to not spin that car. Very unfortunate for him. I hope he can fix it. I'm not sure if you can fix rear wings.
Still a huge effort for Harmsworth. Still credit to him, obviously, because it's a mistake that everyone does. But obviously, he was running in P6 all of a sudden. So that's a good result for Harmsworth. He just needs to get his head up and, well, on to the next one.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where you have to look at the wins more than the losses. He made it almost halfway through the race on a track that is extremely difficult. He wasn't the first one to make a mistake, hit the wall, spin the car, you know. So he for a first performance in a professional category, he did an absolutely incredible job, and he should be really proud of himself. As we now watch, Jonathan Navarro currently running a very lonely race down 7th.
He doesn't know now. He just lost his front wing as well. He's trying to continue, but obviously
without a rear wing, these cars are so impossible to drive. In fact, I think that it would be him pulling over.
Yes,
probably retiring, unfortunately.
Yes.
It's a massive shame for him, but unfortunately, nothing really much you can do. When you've lost both wings, you just kind of you're done for the day, I'm afraid.
Silver Jeffert, 6.5 seconds away from this is Harmsworth going down the Casa section. Oh, that's him spinning while he applied the throttle. Unfortunately, a bit weaker on the gas.
He hasn't taken off his front wing. Is he going to reverse into the
yes, that's it.
That must be so frustrating for him to know that.
That's so unlucky.
Because if it was the spin that took his rear wing off, it's like, okay, I lost the car, I didn't have control. But when it's like that, when you're reversing into it, it's so unfortunate for him.
Silver Jeffert in the pits.
Silver Jeffert in the pits. He's the first one to bite off top 3. So he's going to be dropping down positions and hoping that on fresh rubber, he can set fast enough lap time to close the gap to Dean Vella.
What Dean Vella needs to do is either respond to him and come in this lap.
Definitely. I think the smartest move for Dean Vella would be to pit immediately. 6 seconds, he has enough of a gap to just not risk it. Exactly. He doesn't need to risk it. I think Ryan Karabot, it might be a good idea for him. He's a long way back, so...
Let's see what Dean Vella is about to do. He's going out to do it to the chicane of turn 5 and 6. Now up to turn 7. And let's maybe stay with Dean Vella to see what's about to happen during these pit stops, Simon.
Yes. Here back to Aiden Danville. He is currently running at the back of the field. From the looks of it, I'm not sure if he would have reached the pit entrance yet, but I don't think Dean Vella has pit. We'll wait for confirmation in just a few moments. But Joffrey returns in 3rd place, 26 seconds behind Ryan Karabot, and a very nice gap for himself. He's far ahead of Ritzer, far behind Karabot. He has so much clean air. This is where Joffrey needs to just be flawless. He has a 6-second gap. If he wants to close that up in any way, shape or form, he needs to be perfect every single lap. As we see Dean Vella coming down the back straight. Is he going to dive into the pits on this lap to cover off? I think he doesn't look like he is.
I don't think he is. So still
he is.
He is. Dean Vella on the pits. Let's watch this stop and see where Dean Vella's about to
This is
exit.
this is the smartest move he could pull, because it's going to eliminate any
chance?
benefit that Jeffrey is going to
Exactly.
get if he can heat his tires up quickly. This is the thing. Both of them now need to be so perfect. Any mistake from them is going to be so costly. Dean Vella is going to have the colder tires, but the fresher tires. So it's going to be very interesting. If you're Ryan Carabot right now, you stay out
that's a good
as
stop.
long as you want,
That-
because the faster up you have towards the end, the quicker you're going to.
That's a good stop from
Be
Dean
at the
Vella. That's a good stop. Dean Vella, really good stop.
Let's see. what the
Unfortunately,
gap
though,
is.
the gap is it's about. Let's see the intervals here. So Carabot in first place, Dean Vella, and the gap is only a second and a half.
Yeah, that
So
the undercut definitely worked out for Joffrey if these gaps stay the same for the time being. Obviously,
Jeffrey, obviously, with those fresher tires and having the advantage that Ryan Carabot is a bit far, he could push all the way. So
I
it
do
did
believe
benefit Jeffrey.
I do believe Jeffers would have had a better stop, because gaining 5 seconds on one lap alone is very unlikely. So I do think that maybe, even if Dean Vella did have a good stop, I don't think it was as good as Silver's. As we're currently seeing the lovely castle section, as we hope another car drives through here. We have this lovely camera angle, which I would assume is being created, is being given to us by our director.
Oh, that's Dean Vella over
Nathan.
there. And
Dean Vella is Silver in close proximity. It could be a different car, because that was not.
and this is Silver Jeffrey. There they are. These are the two protagonists right now. Silver,
These are your effective race
competitors.
leaders. There's
Exactly.
very little gap in it. It's just over a second. It's
Close
1.2 seconds. Question is, if Joffrey gets in DRS range, Dean Vella is going to have an extremely difficult time.
It's attack mode for Jeffrey. It's attack mode right now from Silver Jeffrey. So he knows what he needs to do to win this race. He needs to.
Yes, he's setting 2 purple sectors. This is going to be the fastest lap of the race, most probably. He is coming for Dean Vella. If you're Dean Vella, you need to be.
Worry.
You need to be horribly afraid. That is a new fast lap from Dean Jeffers, a 1:43.4. Very fast lap. They were doing 41s in qualifying, so a 43 during the race is spectacular.
It's unbelievable, actually. So the gap hovers around now 1.36. So Dean Vella lost a good chunk of time by not pitting before Silver Jeffrey. So Silver Jeffrey, with that undercut, he gained almost 5 seconds, Simon.
Definitely.
That's an incredible. So the outlap was amazing from Silver Jeffrey.
Because, like I said, he probably had a fast pit stop as well. As we see, Ryan Carabot and Andrea Rizzo have both pitted now. So I do believe that's the top 5 who have pit. Do we have the time? No, I believe, yes, Andrea Rizzo is pitting now. All the other drivers have made at least one stop.
What Silver Jeffrey needs to do is either stay behind Dean Vella, not hurting his tire, just hovering the gap around 1.5 seconds, and then attack him during the final laps of the race.
If I was Joffrey right now, what I would do is get into that DRS and then just kind of lift and coast. Save your fuel,
Exactly.
save your tires for now. Let Dean Vella do the hard work. Kind of like how IndyCar races work, where you let the car in front do all the hard work, kill their tires, kill their engine, and then when they're a bit weaker and a bit worse off, that's when you attack.
The thing is, though, Dean Vella's driving really beautifully right now. He created that second, as Silver Jeffrey gets all out of shape coming out of the last corner.
That's going to cost him. He's not.
a
He was.
lot. 4/10 of a second.
He was teetering on the DRS range earlier, and he's now up to like 1.5 seconds.
Exactly. So no DRS for Silver Jeffrey. Then the gap goes back down to 1.5 seconds. Unfortunately for Silver Jeffrey, unfortunately for Dean Vella, the gap when Silver Jeffrey did made mistake, it was up to 2 seconds, Simon. So all the DRS, all that effort that Silver Jeffrey did is all evaporated.
Despite that mistake, he still managed to have a purple sector 3 somehow. So I don't know how this guy's going so supremely fast. I think, again, credit to Dean Vella right now. He's doing everything he needs to just not make a mistake. What he needs to do is just put in be consistent, be safe, and be fast.
Exactly. And
another lovely camera angle here, as we see some cars driving past.
Silver Jeffrey right now. So the gap around 1.4 seconds from Dean Vella, and 19 minutes left of racing. This is Andrea Rizzo right now in 5th place, so he lost a chunk of time as well. Enriquez in P4 and Carabot in P3. This is Miguel Enriquez, currently in 4th position, being chased by Andrea Rizzo in 5th place. The gap to Enriquez from Rizzo is around 2 seconds. So Enriquez is in really good shape right now, 4th place for him. Carabot in a lonely place third place for him. Then Silver Jefford with 1.5 seconds off the leader, who is Dean Vella, with 18.5 minutes of racing still left of this Baku race.
I do believe Enriquez is, to my knowledge, the only driver who has managed to gain a position through the pit stops. So Andrea Rizzo is obviously going to be very displeased with that, but he is very close. He's going to be pushing as hard as he can to try and get that position back. Two races currently forming at the moment: the battle for the lead between Vella and Jefford, and the battle for fourth between Enriquez and Rizzo. Everyone else has just too big a gap to really challenge each other.
Another new best lap for Silver Jefford, the 1:43.318. So he is attacking Dean Vella, and I think Dean Vella made a mistake somewhere, because the gap went down to less than a second, but then again 1.5 seconds. So either something wrong with the timing strings.
It would probably, because in a braking zone, Jefford will probably close up a lot, and then as they leave it, it'll stabilize again.
What Dean Vella needs to do, because right now I'm looking at the timing strings, Simon, and Dean Vella's quickest of everyone in the first sector. So that's an impressive time, 45.8 and then 45.9 for Silver Jefford. So he is finding some time, Dean Vella. He's driving beautifully, actually, to keep Silver Jefford behind as we now approach the 15-minute mark of the race.
Looking at their last lap, even though Jefford said the fastest time was a 1:43.318, Dean Vella set pretty much the exact same lap time at 1:43.338.
Exactly.
It is only 200s between them. That is not enough for Jefford to catch and overtake in the span of 17 minutes. He needs to be consistently at least a good 2-3 tenths faster than Vella on every single lap. And currently, Vella's doing such a good job to make sure that does not happen.
Exactly, he's driving beautifully, not going defensive as Silver Jefford again snaps onto that final corner, and so he's lost time in sector 1, but he gained and doing a purple sector in sector 2. Let's see what this sector 3 will give, the final sector of this lap. Dean Vella 1.5 seconds from Silver Jefford, and this is the battle for fourth place, the one that we were talking about.
Looking at their split times from that last lap, Dean Vella was faster in the first in the second sector by 2 tenths, and in the final and was slower in the final sector by 2 tenths. So they're staying remarkably even. There's no headway between the two. One of them's quick to buy 10 in one sector, the next one will put a sector quicker in the next one. They're driving essentially the exact same lap times.
Exactly, with the same lap times. Silver Jefford, he needs to mistake from Dean Vella. We're now looking at Andrea Rizzo on board with him, currently in P5, with Enriquez in front of him. Now he gets a good exit.
He will be in DRS. He's going to have an amazing run all the way down. Has a better line through the left turn and now the right turn. Keeps it clean, but I do think Enriquez was a bit faster through there. The DRS will be opening now for him. Yep, right now. Is he going to be able to close up enough? He's closing, but is it going to be enough to attack into turn 1? He might be a bit too far back unless he's very, very gutsy. He's having a sniff. He's going for it. Braking very, very late. Can he pull it up in time? Yes, he can. Brilliant move from Andrea Rizzo. Puts his car exactly where it needs to be. Dies on the inside of Enriquez into turn 1. Can he hold it off? There's a second DRS sector coming up now down this straight. Can Enriquez fight back? We see the DRS flap open just there at the back of his straight. He's in the slipstream. Is he going to be close enough to challenge into turn 3? He's having another sniff. Can he brake late enough? He's going for it. Can Andrea Rizzo?
Oh!
Andrea Rizzo goes wide. He brakes too late. He's done exactly what Harmwood did previously when defending from
exactly the same corner.
Goff. Yes, it's so easy to do. You know, brake a little too late. Andrea Rizzo is going to be fuming in that car right now.
Enriquez placed the car in exactly the position he needs to do. He just showed Andrea Rizzo that he is there, and then Andrea Rizzo did all the mistake by himself.
And all that work Andrea Rizzo did to gain the time after the pit stop phases, he now has a 5-second gap to Enriquez.
And while that's happening, Jefford is coming. Simon Jefford is less than a second from Dean Vella, and there they are. Simon Jefford right now.
There's a very good chance he's going to be in DRS range come the back straight, and that is such a long back straight. Being in the slipstream is so powerful. We saw from Andrea Rizzo, you can pull a move back from very, very far back. He's a little bit squirrely. Coming out of turn 3.
He's attacking and drive. Oh, another step from Simon Jefford for Silver Jefford, and that's the kind of mistakes that Dean Vella wants.
He needs to be cleaner if he wants to. We know how fast he is when he's doing clean laps, but he needs to be cleaner than this if he's going to make mistakes around every corner. Look how close he is. The gap is now 7 tenths. He is going to have if the gap stays the same, he is going to have DRS. down the back straight, and it's going to be so difficult for Dean Vella to defend
And
from that.
I think I saw a back marker down the way, so that will help Dean Vella as well along the way.
If Dean Vella can get within a second of the back marker, he will also have DRS, which will essentially neutralize it for Joffred. But the back marker is not going to stay there forever. These two cars are running significantly fast lap time. As Joffred throws it over the curves, he has to be careful. We saw what happened in practice. If you get the car flying, he's going to be very difficult to
Another mistake by Silver Joffred.
He's
always
so
wide in that final corner, and that allows Dean Vella a bit of a breathing space. Unfortunately for him, it's already a second the gap. So he's on attack mode right now, so he will get DRS for sure, but also
I'm
Dean
not
Vella.
quite sure what that attack mode is. I think because attack mode is for Formula cars, not Formula Pro. I do think that might be a little bit mistake. We'll see. But he's in the slipstream. We can see Dean Vella just trying to break the toe a little bit.
Oh, that's another snap as well for Silver Joffred. He is pushing, but obviously these kind of mistakes allow Dean Vella to be in first. Now Dean Vella needs to clear up that back marker immediately. Now he does.
Very good job for the
great.
back marker getting out of the way. It has given Dean Vella that DRS though, so Joffred is not going to be able to have it run down this corner unless he breaks supremely late, do essentially what Enriquez did to Ritzer earlier, but no, he doesn't. He's too far back.
Dean Vella still in first place with 12 minutes and a half left of racing. So Dean Vella in first place. This is the battle for the lead. Silver Joffred right now, we're on board with him.
It's the battle for the lead, and it's also the only battle we have on track at the moment. So we always love to see that when the battle is, when the entertainment's happening right at the front. But yeah, Joffred now, as they're coming into turn 7, 8, 9, the castle section coming up. Joffred is not going to be able to get a move done anywhere around here.
Still stepping around Joffred.
He needs
still
to
slowing
calm.
around.
He needs to kind of take a breather. He needs to calm down and get his exits on point, because if he's sliding around every corner, he's literally just gifting Vella the time he needs to defend into turn 1.
And hurting his tires as well, and also he might snap around and get a mistake. And mistakes happen along this Baku track, as we saw already.
He's already made one mistake in this race, and you can kind of see that still affecting him at the moment. He's pushing so hard. He's going to have DRS for the second time round as they round the final corner. A lot cleaner from Joffred this time round. But Dean Vella was faster. Look at the gap he has. It's 8 tenths now. Is that enough? Does Joffred have enough speed with the DRS to cover 8 tenths? It's hard to tell. I think he's too far back, you know. I don't think he's going to be able to close that gap by the time turn 1 comes. I think he's wasted way too much time around the lap when he's sliding. He is closing though. He's closing. He's going to have a look. Is he too far back?
Dean Vella's driving so beautifully. He doesn't do any mistakes, and he doesn't also defend the car when he doesn't need to. He just stays on the racing line and let Joffred do all the hard work.
Absolutely. These two are, I think, by far and away our most experienced drivers on the field, and you can see them both using every minute of experience to attack and defend from each other. It's such good racing.
How hard it is for Dean Vella to keep Silver Joffred. That's incredibly hard.
The pressure he must be under. He's under so much pressure every single lap, every single corner since Joffred has been in DRS. But Joffred is kind of making it easy for him at this current moment. Like I said, I do think Joffred maybe might benefit from a lap of not attacking, just getting his wits about him, breathing a bit, and then trying again when he's a bit calmer.
And he knows the strengths and weaknesses of Dean Vella. So he knows where Dean Vella's braking. He knows where he's accelerating. Obviously, by doing that, though, Silver Joffred, he's right up to the rear wing of Dean Vella right now. They come up, still squirming around Silver Joffred. That gets a little bit of breathing space to Dean Vella. Once again, they come up.
You say that Joffred is going to have the best opportunity of his life of the race right now. Look at him, he's basically pushing Dean Vella through turn 15. They're coming up to the penultimate, well, to the final corner, really. As they come around it.
10 minutes of racing left. This is on board with Dean Vella right now.
I would like an off-board shot. There we go. Thank you very much, race directors. This is the battle to watch because Joffred is going to have his best opportunity of the race. He's going to be in the DRS. He's closer than he's ever been. And we cut away, unfortunately. Can we get back to the race lead, please? There we go. Joffred, it looks like he's too far back. He does not look like he's going to be able to get it, but it's still a long turn. Is he going to dive off the inside, or is he going to just be a bit patient? He is being patient. That's exactly what he needs to do right now.
How Dean Vella gets that first corner immediately and braking so hard is incredible to everyone, because Dean Vella, the hardest.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second because Joffred's going to have there's a second DRS mode right here. Joffred is going to have attack. Now Dean Vella defends. He knows that it's coming. Joffred is closing up. Is he going to have a look up the inside? Yes, he is. Can he make the mistake? He breaks later than Vella, and he pulls it up. Dean Vella does not run wide. He's going to have a second run. Now, this is the interesting part. Dean Vella has to stay close enough to be within DRS range, come to the back straight, and he might be able to make a defending move back and retake the lead. Currently, Silver Joffred has taken the lead of the Baku GP. ahead of Dean Vella and Ryan Coverbot in third.
What Dean Vella needs to do, he needs to stay behind Jeffert and get DRS him as well.
Absolutely.
At the start finish straight. So he needs to get on with it, get the pace up, and
Dean Vella cannot do what Joffrey was doing earlier. He cannot be wide and losing the back end around every single corner. He has to be clean and precise. But Joffrey has that clean air, and he has no one in front of him anymore. And look at the gap he's pulling. It's already almost 9/10. Again, Dean Vella's chance at the lead at the moment fully relies on whether he can get DRS and whether he can try again.
Let's see what the final corner does, because they both break hard, but Dean Vella always gets a better exit from Silver Jeffert.
Dean Vella is over a second behind though. I don't think the DRS section is on this straight. It's coming down right around here. It's on this part that Dean Vella's on right now. And he's over a second behind. He's out of DRS. He's not going to get it. Wow.
What an amazing turn of events. So Silver Jeffert in first place after spinning around, going wide in the first lap. So Dean Vella in second place currently, Coverbot and Mika Strizzo, Abdullah Navarro and Glenville. Still Dean Vella behind Jeffert, still trying to find the weaknesses of Silver Jeffert with 7.5 minutes left of racing. Jeffert still in first place with 9/10 of a second from Dean Vella.
We were talking about this being the only battle happening on track. There was also a very close battle happening between Goff and Rizzo. And Goff has in fact gotten past Rizzo, so I don't know if something happened to Rizzo. Maybe made a mistake, maybe got some damage, but Goff is now into 5th place and Rizzo has dropped to 6th as the gap between Joffrey and Vella increases to 1.1 seconds. Here we have the battle I was just talking about. Rizzo behind Goff. Is he going to have a move? No, not quite. He is still within DRS range. He might be able to try a challenge down the back straight if he's close enough. And pressuring Goff all the way through these corners as they're coming up to the turn before the castle section. Nope, I'm completely incorrect. They're coming up to the screen before that. This is the problem with street circuits. Sometimes you kind of get confused with where you're on track. That's a massive problem for Rizzo. He loses the back end and is on the inside of the track. Oh, actually, I believe that was my mistake. He was letting through the...
Oh, someone spun off. Someone spun off and someone lost the front wing. Oh, that's Abdullah Goff. That's Abdullah Goff losing his front wing.
I'm not sure he was losing his front. I think he was just hitting something. I think he was letting a faster car through. What did he actually lose his front wing?
Yes, I think Abdullah Goff or Navarro lost his front wing. Now Dean Vella still within less than a second.
Yes, Dean Vella
from Jeffert.
Dean Vella is closing a lot. He's now 6:10. So I don't know if, looking at the lap times, Dean Vella had a significantly slower last lap to Joffrey, but yet he's managed to close the gap somehow. He's now 5/10 away. So he's in DRS range. And
there they are.
There we see it. This is the exit of turn 1. They're coming into turn 2 now. Dean Vella is going to have DRS down this straight. Can he challenge into the third corner?
Come on. That's Dean Vella in DRS range from Silver Jeffert. Come on, Dean.
He's closing. He's having a sniff.
Hard.
But he's too far back. He did the good thing. He's being patient. He knows that his best chance is down the back straight into turn 1. And he is hounding Jeffert right now. All that racing, all that time stuck behind Vella. Jeffert's tyres are going to be in a world of pain right now. Dean Vella probably has the better tyres at the moment. Maybe not as much fuel to play with, because it is easier to save fuel when you're the car behind. But the tyres are going to be fresher. And he pitted a lap later. He hasn't been sat behind another car wasting his tyres. Dean Vella is not out of this race by any stretch of the imagination.
And the thing is as well, Simon Jeffert is still squirming around that car. He's still snapping around the rear end of that car. So Dean Vella knows.
That's a massive snap.
That's another one from Silver Jeffert. And that allows Dean Vella a chance, a real great chance actually, Simon, to get him into the start finish straight as they come up down to the turn 16 right now, to turn 15, sorry. And now the final corner, which is turn 16. Dean Vella can sniff the victory from Silver Jeffert. Let's hope Dean Vella does. Another snap from Silver Jeffert. They come up now to the run, onto the surface state, the left hander, and now the right.
This is where the DRS detection point is. He's definitely going to be in DRS. He's so closer than Jeffert was when he made the move. In fact, he's already closing before they've even activated DRS.
And Silver Jeffert goes defensively. He goes there. He knows Dean Vella's there. He opens the DRS. Dean Vella, they come up to turn 1. Dean Vella, side by side they come. Dean Vella and Silver Jeffert, they break on. Who breaks later is going to end up in first place. Silver Jeffert still in first place. Dean Vella in second place.
Having a little bit of a look into turn 2. He's not going to get a move done there. He is going to get DRS again down this straight.
Come on, Dean. Come on. The snap from Dean Vella.
That's not good. He has DRS, though. He can make it up. It's not the end of the world yet. I think although I think it is going to ruin his chances of having a move into turn 3. But again, he's close enough. All he has to do is just follow Joffert around, keep the pressure on, and down to turn 1, he is going to have another shot.
So 3 minutes and 50 seconds, sorry, left of racing. Still Joffert in first place. Dean Vella, he did make a mistake into the turn 5 and turn 6 chicane. So still Silver Joffert in first place. Dean Vella hounding and hurting Silver Joffert's effort. They both slide. I think they both running out of tire right now.
I mean, it's so difficult to keep a wheel-to-wheel race ongoing for this long. Their tires are going to be in so much pain, but they're doing so well to keep each other honest and keep each other. Neither of them are letting the pressure up. We see Joffert building a little bit of a gap, 4 tenths now, but it's not enough. Vella is going to have DRS and he's going to have another move. We saw Joffert move very, very early into a defensive position before he making Dean Vella go around the outside. Dean Vella couldn't do it the last time. This time Dean Vella needs to get to the inside. If he can do that, he might have the corner. But we've already seen this once already. Joffert will be able to come back at him. 2 minutes left. There's only going to be 2 or 3 laps left.
So fast. They're driving so fast. DRS on right now for Dean Vella. Is it on right now? Yes, it is.
Off right now, and we can see the gap closing. He's going to the inside. If he can
come on, Dean. Come on,
Look
Dean.
how close to the wall he is. He can pin, if he can pin Joffert to the wall, he's going to have an easy time going around
the outside.
Come on,
Dean.
He's ahead. Does he overbreak
himself?
Come
on, Dean. Come on.
He runs wide. He almost hits the wall. He manages to avoid it. Joffert does keep the lead, and he has that all-important 6-tenth gap. Dean Vella will have the DRS, so he's going to be able to drag himself a bit closer to Joffert, make up some of the time he lost in that mistake. But Dean Vella needs to be careful with these overtakes. If he does them too many times, he's going to run out of laps. There's only 2 minutes of racing left.
Yes, I know. Still Joffert in first place. Dean Vella in second place. We're all cheering for Dean Vella because we want Dean Vella to win this race, especially at the final lap of this race.
Well, we just want good battle. We want good, clean battling, and you know these two have delivered in spades today.
Come on, Dean. Come on, Dean. So Dean Vella, 8 tenths of a second away from Silver Joffert. Come on, Dean. We're all cheering for the Maltese drivers. We're all cheering for them.
Don't show your Maltese bias out loud.
We are Maltese.
We
Come
saved
on,
that
Dean.
for off camera.
Come on, Dean. Silver Joffert in first place. Half a second away. Dean Vella in second place. Then Karabot, Enrique, and Rizzo. They come up to the stadium section.
There's a spin for Aiden Glenville.
Yes, yes.
He would have ran wide, not spin, my apologies. He ran wide into the castle section.
Exactly.
Cutting back to Dean Vella. This is going to be the penultimate lap. They're only going to have one more of this because the timer will tick down during the middle of their second lap. So, Dean Vella really has one more overtaking opportunity, maybe 2 at a stretch, but he really is going to move down into turn 1 if he wants to make sure
this is the exit that needs to be clean. And
absolutely,
Dean Vella,
and they're both clean.
Does it beautifully.
Both of them do. This is, I think, Joffert the first time he's actually done it cleanly. But again, he's not out of the woods. Vella is going to have DRS. The DRS detection point is there. He can flip it on right about now at that white line you see on the ground.
Joffert knows he's there. So
look at it, Joffert goes right over
another
to the
defensive.
wall.
Dean Vella can go to the left-hand side right now. Breaking late. Late move. Dean Vella in first place right now. Turn 1. They touch into it. They come into each other. Dean Vella and still side by side with Simon Joffert, who breaks later right now, isn't going to end up. And Dean Vella takes the lead of the race, sliding around. Still they side by side. DRS open for Silver Joffert. It's open for so Silver Joffert in first place. Let's see who's going to break the later 4 turn 3 as well. And Silver Joffert retains the lead on the penultimate lap from Dean Vella. Wow, what a scrap, Simon.
Brilliant defending from Joffert. He did exactly what he needed to do. Unfortunate for the little slide from Vella coming out of turn 2. He really did kind of scamper his chances now. Look at that, 8 tenths behind. It's going to be so. I think we just watched Dean Vella lose this race, unfortunately. Silver Joffert has that all-important gap, and on the final lap, you're not going to have the benefit of breaking into turn 1. You have to get it done before the checkered flag. That's it, the time is up. This is going to be the final lap. Whoever reaches the checkered flag first wins the race. And there are very few overtaking opportunities left, especially when Dean Vella is this far behind. Edwin.
What an amazing race.
What an amazing race.
Silver
it's not even over yet.
It's not over yet because obviously Silver Joffert could make a mistake or something. Dean Vella with 1.1 second away from Silver Joffert. They come up now to turn 16, which is the final corner of this race. Silver Joffert is about to win the Baku Formula Pro Racing race with Dean Vella in second place. A great effort from Dean Vella, actually. Absolutely. He was going to win the race, but unfortunately for him,
Silver Joffert has done so well. He dropped to 8th on turn 1, and he's just about clawed back a race win. As you can see him weaving down the straight, he's so happy at this current moment. All that anger he had earlier is something. He wins the Baku Special ahead of Dean Vella in second place. Ryan Karabot will be driving home a pretty lonely third place, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be very happy with the podium when he crosses the line in about, well, 30 seconds almost. So this is the time where we're allowed to breathe a little. These two, our top two, gave us such an incredible battle for the lead. They kept us entertained for the entire final, like, what, 20 minutes of the race? It was so entertaining.
Amazing stuff from
and we
both.
can see them kind of congratulating each other there. This is so amazing to watch. Both of them respecting each other and how well they fought for it.
Andrea Rizzo coming up to P5. We did a great race, actually, because he picked up the spoils that Abdullah didn't deliver.
Definitely. Unfortunately for him, he couldn't manage to re-overtake Enriquez, obviously, with that mistake we saw. But 5th place is still a very good showing from him. Enriquez, I haven't seen him race here before, but he did so well to get into 4th. Really good, strong performance from him. And yeah, I think on the whole, like, very few people, I wouldn't say anyone really had a bad performance. Obviously, we had a couple of drivers drop out very early in the race, obviously, Delia and Frendo. Even Harmsworth got his crash, unfortunately. But really good driving from everyone, so very impressed by that. And
amazing stuff from
enthralling battle for the lead. What more could you ask for?
Oh, nothing, guys. Silver Jeffert and Dean Vella did deliver us an amazing race, actually.
Absolutely.
An incredible race.
And you know, what's interesting about them is you could really tell from the way they were sliding the cars how much both of them were pushing. Like, I do wonder, in terms of lap times...
Silver Jeffert just lost his front wing during the cool-down lap. He doesn't have a front wing during the cool-down lap.
I don't think he minds. I think he's completely unbothered in this current moment. He doesn't every
care
wall.
a bit.
He's... I doubt he's even still at the wheel. He's probably celebrating already.
Ending up P7 at the first lap, Simon. You need some great nerves to keep it in check. And
it sets that fire under you, and I think he proved that where you're just like... We saw in practice and qualifying, he was the fastest car on pure pace. A race, you can't rely on pure pace in a race, and I think he had the perfect balance between consistency, speed, and also just amazing racecraft. His defense from Vella in those final couple laps was absolutely impeccable. And even his attacking, like, to carve through 6 drivers, I mean, what can you really say other than... yeah, that's
Dean Vella, I presume, I think so.
Again, hard to say when you can't see the,
the
face.
The thing is, Simon, as well, Dean Vella was no match for the timings of Silver Jeffert during qualifying and practice. And all of a sudden, he was there fighting for the race lead till the last lap. So,
and this is the thing, we have to remember, Dean Vella did not get an amazing start. He dropped down to second off the start. So if he hadn't had that mistake, would have gotten that maybe like 4 or 5 extra seconds, it might have made all the difference in this race.
Exactly.
But saying that, obviously, Jeffrey got into the lead quite a few laps before the end, and Dean Vella just managed to very perfectly get back into where he was.
That's Dean Vella.
That is Dean Vella, yes, right next to, sitting next to Rizzo. I'm trying to decide how, trying to read the emotions on his face. Very difficult. He does seem a little upset.
He does.
Which you can imagine.
And tired as well. He does seem tired and upset.
Again, you keeping the pressure on for that long, over 20 minutes, which is over a third of the race, almost half of it.
I wished he won, actually, because it would be...
Him winning would have been the best story, but Jeffett's winning is, I think, the most accurate description of who had the fastest pace.
Yes.
Because if Jeffett hadn't made the mistake on lap 1, he would have been stroves ahead of everyone else. But yeah, I mean, well, what can you ask for? Absolutely brilliant race. We're seeing all our drivers take a step back.
Absolutely brilliant stuff.
So much fun.
Amazing stuff. When you have these kind of races, when you have this kind of excitement, Simon, and this quality of drivers, that's it. No, you can't ask for more. Amazing racing by both, by all of the drivers, actually. Even Andrea Rizzo did an amazing race.
Yes.
And even Harmsworth did an amazing race until he spun out of the castle section. But full credits to Dean Vella and Silver.
I would honestly argue the most underrated driver would probably be Enriquez, who managed to, really silently put his car into 4th place, and I'm not quite sure how he did that.
And even Ryan Garabot, a lonely race in 3rd place. So
Ryan Garabot did exactly what he needed to do, which is not crash the car.
Exactly.
He, we can see through practice and qualifying, he didn't really have the pace of the top 2, but was a lot faster than the cars behind him. And he proved that in the race. Like, he did everything he needed to do, got the third place he wanted. Well, he would have obviously he would have wanted for more, and probably expected more after seeing Silva's accidental turn on lap 1. But things happen, you know. He didn't have the pace, and I think we saw that with how easily Silva got past all the other cars compared to Vella.
Exactly.
Vella was the only viable competitor. I'm very excited to talk to them.
Exactly.
We typically, if this is your first time watching, hi, welcome. Please, the races tend to be this exciting. So if you enjoy being entertained for 45 minutes, please follow us on Facebook and YouTube so you can watch all our future events. But at the end of these events, we do interview our top 3 finishers. So I'm very much looking forward to talking to all 3 of them, really. But specifically, I think Silva is the one I want to talk to if we can get him. He's not racing at our facility. He's racing online. So if that's something we can do, we hope. We've had some issues with that in the past, so we'll work out the kinks. In here, I can't tell quite what we're going to do or not.
Exactly.
But we should be interviewing at least Carbot and
Dean Vella.
Dean Vella.
Hopefully.
Very excited to hear from both of them.
Well, Carbot
Yeah.
did an own race, but obviously we need to interview. The interview I'm looking for the most is Dean Vella, because
See, for me, it's Silva.
An amazing race.
For me, it's Silva, because obviously you could see how much he wanted. You can see how angry he was for it in the way he was driving and the little slides he was making. And that, honestly, gave us those really, really entertaining final few laps. Because without those little mistakes, he would have had a lot more overspeed and been able to get past sooner and keep his position, defend his position easier. But, you know, Dean Vella, full credit to him, he was under so much pressure for so long.
And
I'm kind of agree with you a little bit where I kind of wish Dean Vella won for the simple reason for how much hard work he put in.
Exactly.
But
The amount of time he gained and the experience he gained during the race
Yes.
is amazing.
But the Silva PMS's comeback drive is phenomenal. And I think, again, you could see how much he wanted it. You could see how desperate he was to win this race. So it is a fully well-deserved victory.
Both of them, because they both drove their heart out, and they both drove beautifully and cleanly. They're just one touch at the rear, one tire to another, but that's normal racing. Obviously, you need to
yeah,
touch.
it happens.
It's normal racing. So
Definitely.
let's hope we get the drivers in, so we can interview them one by one, maybe.
Yeah, I want these every week. I want to do this every Saturday. Just come here,
It's
spend
always
45
nice.
minutes screaming your lungs out. How
It's
entertaining
always
the
nice
race.
for a last lap battle. That's what we aim for, a last lap battle.
I mean, we saw it in Monaco in the real life Formula One race, where we didn't even have a last lap battle. We just had 4 cars this close to each other.
Exactly.
You know, and even that is just something so entertaining, something so exciting about it.
When you get a car who just walks away with the race, we never liked it. We
The
always
driver likes
like-
it, but we
the
don't.
driver likes it because of it's easy for him. We always love clean, hard, and
Definitely.
racing along the way all through the race.
There is something about a completely dominant performance that's very fun to watch from a respect point of view, because you're just like, oh yeah, you're completely untouchable in this race. Think Hamilton in any race he
Exactly.
raced in 2015, 16. Well, not 16, obviously, 2014, 15. You know, completely untouchable. You're in the lead from start to finish. No one's ever going to beat you. Kind of like Leclerc in Spain until his engine gave out.
Exactly.
A purely dominant drive. Those are amazing to watch from a respect point of view. But from the actual entertainment, which is
There's no
we watch
entertainment,
racing. We watch racing for the entertainment, you know. So we won those last lap battles in the front.
Exactly.
We want them to get a bit too close, make that contact. You can
And
see
we did have another last lap battle, which was
definitely,
one of the best we have ever commentated on. So,
absolutely. I think it was one of the most thrilling and one of the cleanest as well. Like sometimes you see these little touches, cars going wide, but I think what both drivers demonstrated is just that pure hunger to win. And
Exactly.
it's
Both of
so
them. Both of them
amazing to
wanted
see.
to okay, let's see how. Let's hope that we can get the drivers in soon, so we can interview them.
Yes. I believe we are cutting to our facility again. No drivers there, just Michael Schumacher smiling down at us. But yeah, as you can see, this is our facility. City facility here in Malta. And I believe we are going to be setting up for some interviews in a few moments, so hopefully stay tuned for that. I need a breather after that race, especially after those last 5-10 laps. Just endlessly entertaining. But yes. So, Edwin, if you could change one thing about the race, I know the answer is nothing, but like, what should you change?
Actually, what I would, maybe what I will do is either no damage, just to let the cars go by, And well, that's it, because the race was amazing. Soon and
Absolutely,
shortly, we're about to interview our third place driver, Ryan
Yes.
Carabot, so soon. Um,
In a few moments, yes, we're setting that up right now. If you can tell that me and Edwin are filling time. In fact, here he is. Ryan Carabot, thank you very much for joining us. Third
Thank
place finish, a very quiet third place as well. How do you feel after?
Yeah, I'm
everything.
happy because this is my first time here, so
Hey,
of course
wow.
I'm happy about the third place. The first two drivers were out of the way for sure, because the forward one is very fast. Dean as well was leading until the last two laps, I think. So
Yeah.
it's a merit third place, I think, for me for the first time here. So I'm happy.
Definitely. I think you were very consistently the third fastest driver all through practice, all through qualifying, and I think it proved again in the race. Towards the beginning, though, you off the start, Dean got a little bit of a slow start, and you managed to take the lead after Silver had his little accident. Did you think at that point that you maybe had a chance of winning, or did you know that the others might catch up to you? Where did you think you might finish at the end of the first lap?
After the first lap,
Yeah.
because when I was first, I thought I had a chance, of course. So I'm first.
You perk up a bit, don't you?
But even before the first lap, when Dean was 0.4 behind me without even the DRS, he got past and he ran away. Then I saw the foreign guy. Then I thought, oh my God, he came back from that almost
from seventh
a
place.
crash.
A crash,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
So
Almost a crash.
when I
is
saw
it?
him behind me, I thought, now it's over. My place is third place.
Fair enough.
Would you come back?
We'll see, we'll see. But
No,
I had
don't
a
say-
lot of fun here.
Don't say that. It's a definite yes. Come on. You got
I
third
had-
place. Do you
I
want to
had
do this
fun,
again? Well, we're really glad that you had fun. We really
Yes,
do hope
yes,
to
I
see
did.
you back here, obviously.
We'll hope, we'll hope.
But yeah, a really, really good race from you. It's kind of unfortunate we didn't get to see too much of you because you're kind of driving your own race. We saw you very much at the beginning, and then you kind of, I think we saw you in your pit stop phase.
No, I only had one
Hmm.
battle only with Dean when he passed me.
Yeah.
And even with the foreign guy, he passed me, it was easy. Then that's
Mhm.
it for the whole race. I just stayed in the third place. Even
Yeah.
after the pit stop, I was third place. So
But yes, thank you very much for joining us
Thank
again.
you.
We really do hope to see you back here again. You drove an amazing, amazing race.
yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Oh, one second. Right, we're now currently going to set up for our second interview with Dean, our second place finisher, Dean Vella. So
That's
yeah,
an interview I'm going to look forward to. An interview with Dean Vella, who
absolutely.
literally drove his heart out, as all did the other drivers, obviously. But Dean Vella, what an incredible job he did with Silver Jefford.
Simon
did
Jefford. Wrong name there, my friend. Have you been calling? Did you call him Simon during the race as well?
I think so.
That would be my name, you see.
I think so. I think so.
All the S's are the same. It's fine. But yeah, no, a very, very good race from him, from Dean as well. Yeah, talking about Ryan Carabot for just a moment longer. He's one of those drivers I was just talking about, where he's like a really strong but quiet race, and he did everything he needed. He didn't make any major mistakes that we saw. He didn't stuff into a wall. He didn't spin. He did a really good job, even if he wasn't the fastest. And I think that's something that we should celebrate a little bit.
And he did a really good job, obviously, for being here the first time that
Yes,
he did.
I actually forgot that this was his first time. Considering his first time here in our sim rigs, in our little facility, very, very good job to just be consistently fast, consistently cautious, and also
And he
finish
just finished
third.
15 seconds away from the lead, so
I think
that's
it was
not
more
bad,
like,
actually.
I think it was more like 25-30 or something like that.
That's not bad either way.
No,
He
not bad.
did-
Again, especially considering we saw that he didn't really have the pace to keep up with the leaders, and he admitted himself that as soon as he saw the cars in his rearview mirror, he knew it was kind of the end of it. Very mature from him as well to know kind of where his limit is. Obviously, someone who's still very much improving. So yeah, we look forward to seeing him again. I really do hope he comes back. He was very, very fun to watch today.
Let's hope
From
we
the
can
little we did
get
see.
the second place driver in. Maybe Dean Vella
Yes, we definitely will.
will join us shortly to interview him.
Yes, we're probably setting up that as we speak. So, for those of you who don't kind of see the behind the scenes, Justin, just outside our little studio, will be running around trying to wrestle everyone into position. As yes, currently walking into our studio is second place finisher Dean Vella. So yeah, in just a few moments we'll be on camera with him. And yes, obviously Dean Vella, very, very strong performance. Edwin, we're going to interview him in just a few moments. And oh, look at that movie magic once again. Dean Vella, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
How are you feeling after that race?
Tired. It was really intense.
Me and Edwin said that you must be so drained after having to defend.
I'm drenched at the moment, like
Oh,
in
wow.
sweat. So
Amazing.
What
Yeah.
an amazing race you did, Dean.
Thank
we were
you.
cheering you on here to get past. I was cheering you on for sure.
Edwin's in tears that you didn't, I'll be honest.
Simon, Toby, don't get biased. I don't care. I just wanted you to win that race because what you did in the first lap and how you controlled the race, you managed an incredible job actually. Because practice and qualifying, you were out of pace almost what, half a second, or
like 4/10, I think.
so
One
you
lap
managed to
pace.
find that half a second during the race. So that's an incredible feat.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit more consistent in the race. Actually, that's what kind of helped. I had the pace to get pole, but I just couldn't get a proper lap together. That's why. Otherwise, I would have been maybe a 10th off, or hopefully on pole. But yeah, I just tried to keep it clean as much as possible. Like
Yeah.
then in the end, it started getting a bit messy, of course, because it was a
What
bit more
was the
tense.
strategy of the tires? Because you ended up pitting after Jeffrey.
I
You
did not
just saw
have
him
an
a bit?
exact strat. I was kind of counting on him pitting and then just
okay.
kind
Okay.
of matching the strategy.
Okay,
But
okay.
I think my pit entry was a bit slow, and he gained like 4
seconds,
I
4
think.
seconds.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
Because
He
you were
did get
almost
a-
6 in front of him, and then all of a sudden you were 1.5 seconds.
exactly, and he, yeah.
And from that point on, you two had probably the most enthralling battle we've seen in World Pro Racing for a very long time. Because first with you in the lead, defending for your absolute life, and you're doing such a good job of it. Until maybe the last few corners when he managed to last few laps, I'm sorry. When he managed to overtake you and then get back, it was, you did so well, and I really have to commend you for just how well
It was amazing. One of the best races we ever commentated, and we were literally cheering you on here. So great job to you. And as always, because you're a veteran here at World Pro Racing, driving whatever car you want, and ending up on podium or winning. So an incredible feat, actually, Dean. Congratulations to you. Hats off to you, actually,
Thank you.
because you managed to keep Jeffrey behind you for a long time. He tried many times to overtake you, and with DRS on, and you just kept your line, not making any mistakes, not going defensive, just kept your line, and you did your own job.
I have one question. On the final lap, when you tried to attack Jeffert again, around turn 2, you made a small mistake. Do you think that maybe cost you a chance of
I
defending?
think so, yeah, because I think at that point then I couldn't get
Yeah.
the gap down again. There wasn't much time, and the tires were cooked at that point. So
We
Yeah.
saw you.
so I
still
think
standing around.
at the end I was just trying all I had. really.
Fair. That, when you dove up the inside on what eventually became the final lap, me and Edwin kind of just lost our minds a little
Oh.
bit. It was, no,
We were
watching you
lit.
race was so much fun. You and Jeff definitely provided the entertainment for the
Thank
last
you.
20 minutes. Yeah, massive congratulations. It's unfortunate you didn't win, but you should be so proud of that second place. 'Cause it
I'm
was
still
hard fought
satisfied.
for and very well deserved.
Thank you.
So yeah, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for coming back to World Pro Racing. Always lovely to
Always.
see you back here.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, you're not the
Thank you,
first time
Dean.
you've been sitting in this chair.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're an amazing driver, and yeah, we hope to see you here again.
Thank you. Definitely.
Thank you, Dean.
Yep. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yes, we're now. I'm not currently sure if we're going to be able to set up an interview with our race winner, but as we're informed, we will let you know. Yeah. I think we might be. Anyway, there we go. So yes, you can see. Thank you very much for joining us, Dean Vella.
See you guys.
Thank you, Ryan. Well done. Oh, Dean, sorry. Well done. Well done. Well done
Names
to
are
you.
not your forte today, are they, Edwin?
What an amazing job.
Yeah. Edwin, talking about the race, talking about Dean Vella again, something I'm really happy about is to see how proud he is of himself. Like
He should be proud of himself
Yeah,
because obviously
absolutely.
the race he did was an incredible
Mhm.
one. Actually, one of the best we've ever seen, Simon.
Yeah, but it's so easy after putting in that much effort to get second place. After putting in that much effort and still getting second place, it's very easy to be disappointed, a bit run down. He wasn't. He was so smiley and so jovial. Like,
Because
very
obviously-
sweet guy.
Because when Simon, we all know it. It's nothing special. But when you race to a professional driver at the highest level, you should be proud of yourself, and why not? He did an incredible job. Hats off to him, and let's hope to see more of Dean Vella's incredible incredible driving.
Absolutely. Like, we've seen him here many times before, and I'm very glad he keeps coming back because he's such a good driver. And again, he's just such. We heard him talk. He's such a nice guy. You know, very down to earth, very sweet. Again, just never just good vibes.
The good thing about the Invella, he always provides good racing in every category.
Yes.
Whether it's go-karting, whether it's GT4 Championship, whether it's Formula Pro racing, he always gets good results and good driving out of any car, whichever any car he drives.
Definitely. I mean, that's the mark of a really, really strong performer, is that when he can be, because he's so adaptable, as you're saying, he can really just get into any car and within a bit of practice be effortlessly consistent and high performing. Yeah, I mean, I'm very glad we see him back here. Can't wait till he races again. And he's just a lot of fun. And while we're currently setting up things, if you're just joining us, our race has ended, but we are live on ESTV, Motorsport.tv, TVM Sport, and our Facebook and YouTube channel. But yeah, Edwin, talking about the race, what would you say is your favorite moment from the race?
Favorite moment would be obviously final lap. Let's round up everything. It would be a good roundup when obviously we end up talking about the final lap. The final lap is well, it was the climax of the whole race. So I think all the people that saw the race today live, we all wanted a last lap battle, as we always do. But we all thought that obviously Jeffert will just walk away with the race, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
We all say, Simon, before the race that races end up giving us, and Baku's especially, end up giving us the biggest surprise, and they did give us the biggest surprise when Jeffert went off into the first corner. We just saw him went wide. It was amazing. And the last lap, last couple of laps, not the last lap, but the last couple of laps, they were amazing.
Absolutely.
For both the Invella and Silver Jeffert.
So you're saying it was such a fun to watch, and I'm really glad so many people at home got to watch it as well. If you are still watching, we thank you very much. Currently setting up some stuff. We're going to try and get a third interview, I believe, or maybe either with our race winner, or we'll just be talking to some of our World Pro Racing people. But yeah, so stay tuned for that, definitely. But yeah, thank you very much for staying tuned throughout the race, even despite our little internet issues earlier on. We do apologize for those, but in the end, the race was totally worth it. It was so entertaining from start to finish, and yeah, when you get a 20-minute long battle for the lead, or at least, you know, the premonitions for a battle leading to an actual full-on race-to-race battle, wheel-to-wheel battle, it is so entertaining. And yeah, I'm trying to thinking like, we've talked so much about the top two. If we're thinking down the field, I think Aiden Glanville was obviously one of the first drivers to kind of fall. We talked about him being so young. He made that mistake and kind of wrecked Navarro's race as well, which is unfortunate. But before that, he was doing very well. He qualified very high in, I think, a P5, and was racing in P4 for a long time. But yeah, it was only after that he dropped back. And you know, it was the same with Enriquez. I think he was the most underrated driver of the night, because he started, I think, I believe he started 6th, and through just kind of driving a clean race, managed to jump both Glanville and Rizzo, who I think both suffered mistakes throughout the race.
Exactly.
Because finishing P4, and
good recovery though from Rizzo after that mistake. He finished in the 5th place, so that's a great recovery from Rizzo.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's why the race, sometimes the race, that's why it's good to be a bit longer, because obviously while doing a mistake, obviously you hope not to make any mistakes, but when you do a mistake, at least you can get the time to fix that mistake and get stronger.
Yeah, we should also talk about Jazz Goff for a second, because he did really well through most of the race, really. He was driving in 5th after Rizzo had a little bit of a mistake. But yeah, unfortunately for him, he made the mistake and lost the rear. So, made the mistake, lost the rear, and just the damage to his car is so difficult to fix and so difficult to make up for in these races. So, lost my train of thought there. So difficult when you damage your car. It's so difficult to make up that time and regain into that groove. So it's unfortunate for him that he did that. But before that, an amazing race. I think we mentioned it before. So good for all of our drivers.
Yeah, let's hope to get the interview for the first place finisher,
Yes.
hopefully shortly. And
Yes.
so-
If you're wondering why Edwin and I have been stalling for time for quite some time, we are going to interview our race winner in just a few moments. So, yeah, so we're going to interview our race winner in just a few moments. And until then, we're just kind of filling time until we get everything set
it
up.
is a tiring race because obviously
I do believe we have Silver Jeffert here. So, first of all, congratulations for the race. You did such an amazing job. And P1, how do you feel?
Well, thank you. Pretty good. So it was an amazing race. Obviously, can you hear me?
yes, yeah, we do hear you, Silver, we do hear
Yes.
you.
Yes. Oh, very good. Yeah, I feel great. It was really fun. Very intense. Obviously, I'm sweating like a pig here. Yeah, the Dean put up such a great fight, and really amazing to win this race.
Right. Well, you're the second person to tell us that you're very much ready up there. How difficult was it racing Dean Vella for so long at the end of the race?
Yeah, really difficult. It's such a mental game when you're driving 1.5 seconds from the guy in front for 20 minutes, just trying to get that gap down to less than a second so you get DRS. It's so hard, especially on a street circuit. So
I
What
can
the-
imagine.
intense.
What did you think, Silver, when you went off? When you went off on lap 1, what did you think about your race? Is it finished or what were your thoughts about?
Well, yeah, I kind of thought it was finished at that point. I lost quite a few positions, and I thought it was going to be hard to make up those places to get up to P1 again, but in the end it was possible.
And also one last question from me at least, Silver.
I have a couple more.
What did you think of, because obviously you never raced Maltese, I don't think you ever raced Maltese drivers. What did you think about, for example, Dean Vella racing you?
Well, I've raced Dean Vella a couple of times in the past, but yeah, stronger than I expected. I don't remember him being this fast in the past, but very good pace from him as well, especially in the race. I wasn't expecting him to be this fast in the race, but obviously he was faster than in qualifying, so it was nice to see.
Right. Well, it's so exciting to hear you say that, you know, Dean Vella's got improved so much. Obviously, here at Corporate Racing, we are an education facility. That's what we want to hear. And yeah, I'm very glad that you enjoyed the race. Obviously, a massive congratulations to you. After your first lap, recovering from 8th or 7th to win the race, especially in the way you did it. Massive congratulations to you. You deserve so much respect for what you pulled off. And yeah, so massive congratulations for winning the race. And thank you very much for joining us in this interview.
Thank you.
Yes. You've raced with us many times before, and we absolutely look forward to seeing you race again. You're so fun to watch, and you're extremely talented. Like, I can't do what you do, so pick up from there.
Yeah, cheers. Love to race with you guys, and hope to race with you guys more in the future.
Okay, I do believe that's the end of our interview. Silver, are you still there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Sorry, lost you for a second. But yes, thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, enjoy your win. You worked so hard for it. And yeah, thank you for joining us for this interview.
Thanks very much. See you guys next time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, that was
We had-
entertaining and another great race, Simon, actually.
Yes, and again, hearing from him, you can again, very fun, very interesting to hear him say just how tired he was after this race. You could like we saw it while they were driving, we hear it from it now. They both pushed so hard to win this race.
And to the limit, actually, because they were both on the limit of the cars were sliding all over the place. The tires were shot, but they still drove beautifully and also perfectly, actually, because just one touch between Dean Vella and him, and that's it.
You say that, but at the same time, they were pushing so hard, they were making these little mistakes, pretty much like 2-3 a lap. Which, considering these were the two race winners, and the two people who were leaps and bounds faster than everyone else, if I'm allowed to say that, it was so exciting to see. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They really provided all the entertainment.
Exactly. I agree with you, Simon, and Shortly, I believe Justin will appear with us as well.
He's currently in the studio with us, which means we're talking about him and he can't answer yet. That's all. Oh, look. Now he is on screen now. Hello, Justin. How are you doing?
By the way, we are on screen.
Yes.
Yeah, we switched the video.
Yeah, I know,
images
it's
and
there.
stuff.
Yeah,
So
I know.
I was behind the scenes going, you are on camera."
I can
was-
tell, because I can see this.
It was a hectic one, as usual,
Definitely.
but this is normal. I love such events with not problems in technology and stuff, but you know, everybody's going around and making sure that everybody is, you know, in place and stuff like that. But overall, I'm more happy, as usual, with your commentary.
Oh, thank you.
The new drivers, unfortunately, there were a couple of DNFs, but that's part of, because I was explaining to them, someone was shifting and it was double shifting.
Okay.
It's technology, so you know, it's like you're competing in real motorsport. Something happened to your engine or whatever, break. Nothing we can do. In fact, one of the events, there was I think it was in the national championship. It was Sheldon. He just literally his force feedback just.
We believe.
Went on.
We were
Yes,
here.
I remember
We
this happening,
commentated
yeah.
this race.
Oh, you're going back
So-
so many months.
And that was a national championship. It was much more sort of intense, but as everybody knows, and I made them aware of this, that even though this is a special event, as in a casual, everybody is in with different levels, it's still the same as if it was a final of a national championship.
Definitely.
So there were people who were disappointed, there were people who were angry because somebody hit them. That's motorsport. The important thing is the etiquette. Nobody from there came out of the sim or started swearing or shouting or breaking stuff. That's how we are, you know,
Yeah.
guiding drivers into getting into the competitive scene without making any drama.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is a professional place. Even if even when we have casual races and we encourage people who are not experienced to come race for us, we do expect that. Well, not expect. We do encourage that kind of level of professionalism with everything that we do, and I think you're very much the poster child for that. So yeah, I'm very glad that we had no incidents today. Like obviously, people getting angry.
No
People
incidents.
Shh, it didn't happen.
Don't worry.
But
That's normal.
as in, like from the people side, obviously, if we're happy, people getting upset, people getting angry happens.
Yeah.
Racing is all sport really, but especially racing is very emotional. As we heard from both of our race leaders, it's very physically tiring. So when you have a crash with someone, especially, I believe I wouldn't be surprised if Navarro was a bit upset after the race. His race was very much ruined through no fault of his own, poor thing. But yeah, so it's
normal.
those things that happen. It's normal, happens. But yeah, hopefully the rapport outside of the sim rig is calmer and nicer. And all that.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm very satisfied with overall the event. Not for as in the production as usual. We always do our best to put it out there as best as possible. Before, of course, we end the stream, I would like to thank first of all TVM Sport, whom they always support us, and you know they we collaborate to create such content for others out there in motorsport virtually, of course. ESTV, of course, our international partner, and of course motorsport.tv as well, which is one of the largest websites in the world of motorsport that, of course, do enjoy our content. And this content could not have been published out there, first of all, without you, all right, without all those people who were behind the scenes. There was Nathan Vella doing the broadcast direction. I was still guiding to improve, to continue. This is how we roll, even though we are into a professional and serious level. Still, I always say kids, young children, or whatever, they are the future of anything, sport, whatever it is. So in any discipline, in any job, you know, those are the future. So, and there was always also Wayne, Adrian, of course, doing the monitoring, including Mandy. There's always Luke as well, who is monitoring what's happening behind the scenes. Sorry if I missed someone, but everybody else was trying to do the impossible, because when such an event like this, you have to do the impossible. You know how we go. You see me always around. Where's Justin? I saw him first. He was there. Where's he now?
You very much
Somewhere else.
teleport around this place.
Yes, because when you know the business by heart,
Of course.
you know, that's why you have created such solid thing.
Yeah, I think-
Everybody has his own, you know, expertise, not just myself. I'm in technology and esports. You know, it was a dream come true. Adrian into stewarding, race direction, etc., guiding from different expertise to, you know, for all those drivers who are there competing today. That's why we push such events, because many people watch our races, and who knows who might get interested in your skills, or maybe they find an opportunity in this person. Not say a kid or a young person or an old person or an older person. Anybody, because motorsport, there's no age.
I mean, ultimately, like, something I respect is that when we have casual races, they're open to everyone, even people who have never jumped on a simulator before, as long as they have the technical capabilities to race and the etiquette to race cleanly and respectfully. You let them race, and that gives us opportunities that you're talking about, where people can watch one of these streams, catch them on their TV as you're flipping through channels, and then join, a week or two later. And I think that's something that's so incredible. And we've had it before, we had so many new drivers here for the first time. Ryan Carbot was one of them, and he managed to finish third. You know? So you have these stories of people who just kind of come, try it out, and do well. Or even if they don't do well, they kind of get that taste for it, and then they want to keep coming and keep improving.
There's only one there's only one thing that, you know what I'm going to say about the mentality.
Of course.
I literally hate when somebody is new. I hate not the person. I hate that mentality.
Yeah.
Because that's how they've been brought up. Okay? It's a new race. But what time they're doing? What, to see who's fast, so if you come last or not.
Yeah.
I'm not pointing to anybody. This is happening for years and years and years because they are afraid of coming last.
Well, that's the thing. When you start a new
that's
hobby
already,
you're always going to be, you need to practice it if you want to become good at it. And I understand it from a point of view where it's like, in the beginning, when you're consistent, when you're not good enough to stand with like some of the really, like, if you're just getting into a real life racing career and you're starting in karting, you're not going to be able to jump in an F1 car and beat Lewis Hamilton. It's not happening, So I understand where the frustration comes from if you're constantly finishing towards the back, making mistakes and things like that.
I would prefer,
but you have to push further.
Leclerc or anybody else.
I understand that, but I am unbiased.
I'm joking about.
I know.
So that's it. Edwin, say something.
We are all tired today.
One of the most talkative people I know, and you've been quiet for like 2 straight minutes. This is impressive.
Today. We're all tired today. A whole day of work and now racing.
That's it. I mean, but yeah, you mentioned work, etc. But before I say that, it's giving an example with you, so we don't take it for a long time. When you started through university, etc., doing the articles, and then I told you, hey, just do it and go in front of the camera and do it. And here you are today. So to anybody out there, whatever you have in mind, whatever path you want to take, there's only one thing to say: I'm going to keep going forward. If you're going to stay coming up with excuses, you can stop because you're not going to succeed. You're going to fail immediately. From your side, you mentioned work. I thank you personally and on behalf of the team that, when you, instead of going out and have some fun, relax, you came relaxing here in a different way. So we hope that you enjoy.
I always enjoy being here.
You say relaxing. With how tense the last few
it's not
moments.
tense.
But no, that good tension of the last few laps of the race. So close, so exciting. I wouldn't call that relaxing. I would call that very much high energy entertainment.
But
it's fun, though.
It's work after all as well, So it might be your future career. So same thing for you. You did already commentary before back then in Formula 4. So that was the first time when I heard you commentating. So yeah, thank you everybody who watched. Sorry again, apologies for the technical issues. It was not from our side. All we had to do just a restart of the system and everything back in place. But at least the session continued while we were trying to fix everything. Before we close, booking to our facility is now live, which you can go online and look for it. Search on your browser booking.wpr.gg, where they can now book their sessions instead of messaging everybody, which is live. Of course, you can look for it, or we'll paste it, the link in the morning now, because I don't know what the time.
And if you'd like to spam Justin, his mobile number
is well, it's still public. They can find it.
Oh, is it?
I don't mind. I always love to answer questions solid questions at least.
See, I was
And-
joking. I didn't realize it was public, but yeah, go. Good for you.
But the other thing is the delay that we had with the website, which of course we delayed a lot of events. So apologies again, which is not from our side, but apologies again for missing various events that we had planned, but rest assured that all those pending events are coming up. Literally, we are uploading everything online, publishing everything to be ready and available for you to apply. We have endurance races, sprint races, a long list. So thank you everybody, and I leave it up to you to close.
Yeah, I mean, if the races on the events you have planned are anything like tonight, they're going to be so entertaining and so much fun. Can't wait till we actually manage to get to them.
I'm sure of that.
But you've thanked Justin, you've thanked everyone who's been working it tonight. No one's thanked you, so thank you very much for all the work you put in. Thank you very much, Edwin, for joining me here in the commentary booth for the last race.
Thank you yourself. Thank you, everyone.
And I would like to thank all of our racers, everyone who's been watching. I think everyone had fun today, and I think that's, well, except Justin for that hour, but for the few minutes when the internet went down. But everyone else had fun. So yeah, thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you join. We hope to.
Last couple of words.
Oh yes, of course.
No, from you.
Oh
Because
yeah.
you're getting dry.
Yeah, that's the thing. I did the thing where I think too much.
No,
But yeah.
joking.
Thank you very much for joining us for this race, and we really hope you join us again for the future ones. Thank you very much.